I'm all over the place today. Sorry. Today I am going to try another special dual live stream with you guys. You guys see the notification from Wrestling with Bum Shadows. I'm just waiting for them to tune in right now. I had to push back the invite a few minutes because of my tardiness. Sorry. But I expect today to be a fun one. And we're pulling out the brown tequila. All right, looks like. Hey, what's up, Dwayne?
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much.
Little late to the party.
No, man. Like I don't know what it is. Like my phone is so stupid because you can only do dual live streams from your cell phones, right? You can't
Yeah.
do it on your computer, which is stupid.
Yeah,
And
man.
I'm on the screen ready for the 7 o'clock, and it's locked in like the landscape position. I'm like, and my face is like this close to the screen. I'm like, nah, this isn't gonna work.
Nice, man. Oh man, yeah, I was just running a little behind, but glad I made it in. Thanks for having me, dude.
Absolutely. For any viewers just tuning in, again, special guest, Wrestling with Bum Shadows. If you guys checked his stuff out, check out like Bone Breaking Action. It kind of gives me a feel of Bone Breaking Action with a lot of your fake feds that you've set up.
Mhm.
But I also like the stories, right? It also kind of gives like that New Age Revolution type of feel as well. And I think you're like right there on par with Jason as well as far as view count or subscribers and whatnot. So, I
Yeah.
mean, you've got a pretty substantial, in my opinion at least, you got a pretty substantial following with your account. I think that's pretty amazing.
Oh, thanks, dude. It actually like started out as just how I got the bulk of it was like not I did like clips of like '90s wrestling, and I'd go through each episode of Nitro and pick apart like the highlights, like the funny stuff and the like cool moves or whatever, and I put those together, and that's really where it comes from. As far as original content, I'm just sort of putting around, I'm just trying to get going on it,
Yeah. I mean, I never thought of myself as being someone who's into all of these social media platforms, right? And everyone that followed me, like, hey, I'm 37 years old at this time. Like, why am I just at age 37 finally creating a YouTube channel?
Right.
And it took me almost 4 years, but hey, I think I'm finally at a following that I'm excited about.
Yeah.
We're constantly getting in new viewers, new subscribers, new commenters, and it's been amazing. That's exactly what this community, what inspired me to kind of join, not just wrestling fandom, but the collecting fandom as well.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you already know none of this existed before 2021, 2022.
Right. Yeah.
So
Definitely. Definitely, man. Yeah.
it
It was.
just
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's just one of those things that you get on YouTube, you watch a bunch of different channels, you get new recommendations for you, and you kind
Hmm.
of see that passion and love that other people had, and it really kind of kicks back that nostalgia.
Definitely,
Uh,
man.
so um, that's kind of like what got me into the collection, why I went so hard and heavy in the wrestling stuff, even though that wasn't something I watched for well over 25 years.
Right.
But I think it's more the toys that I didn't have when I was young.
Hmm.
My childhood, I only had maybe 2 or 3 years I could actually remember where I had like a legitimate play. But and I see other people like, hey, ages 6, 5, even 4 years old, and they can have those memories that take them all the way into their teen years. And so I kind of feel like sometimes maybe I missed out. So that's why it's fun now that I'm an adult and actually got the money to actually buy this stuff. So
Hmm. Yeah.
that's what's kind of bringing the joy and happiness for me. I don't know if
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
similar to what you're talking about as well.
Yeah, actually, definitely like Hasbro was sort of my more of my thing growing up for sure, and like I don't know when I was like I was saying earlier, I was doing the clips, and then I was like, I want to do something original, so I started the Fig Fed stuff, and I kind of just been trying to learn how to edit like on the fly and everything, but I don't know. I think things have come out pretty good. I think I've come a long way with that. But so I started collecting the Hasbro and then getting into the whole independent like retro game and everything because I wanted the characters. I wanted as many characters as I could get. To make like storylines for them or just happen to fit into what I'm doing and stuff. So yeah, definitely. But as far as nostalgia goes, for sure, man. I mean, I remember like running in like for sure, dude, Toys R Us or a local store and checking out the pegs, and seeing if anything new's in. Yeah. Sometimes you want to go back, or I do at least.
Heck yeah. Uh, so we do have a couple of commenters. Just want to welcome Riker into the show, and BBA is also on. I was thinking about calling off work today for the show. That's awesome,
What's up?
man.
What's up, PBA?
So I'm trying to think, like, you know what? I know our big thing was the unboxing of Paul Orndorff,
Yes.
and I don't know how much if you want to like kind of get into a lot of small talk, which I really enjoy, because it
Yeah,
kind of branches off to other topics of discussion,
for
or if you
sure.
kind of wanted to like dive right into this, because to be honest, I got my first Title Run Toys figure, and there's a guy off of eBay, Gary, who I bought a lot of stuff from. Quality is King on eBay. Also on Mercari. I'll give him a special shout out because I bought so much from him over the last couple of years. Amazing dude, just a great seller. So,
Definitely.
and honestly, I got this for less than $30,
Nice.
and I was deeply surprised that he didn't reach out. Hey man, sir, I can't sell this to you because I'm pretty sure these are selling online for around 60,
Yeah.
and I'm sure he probably paid a lot more than what he got off of that eBay sale. So grateful to him for shipping it out to me, of course. Now, if you
Yeah.
if you notice this, man, like 'cause when you look at head sculpts, right?
Hmm.
Much more modern. A lot of these companies are making more modern, updated technology. I always love the uh, cartoon look of the original Hasbro line. So, modern day, modern technology, does that bother me?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit here and there.
Right.
I know you said you were going to do an unboxing, so maybe you can verify with me. But when I
Yeah.
actually look at the waist of a
There you go.
Paul Orndorff, it looks
Right.
like it can just come right apart at the waist. So
I
this might.
did oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, I think it was like on the major podcast or whatever. I
Yeah.
think Matt Cardona like took it apart by hand, which I'm a little worried about.
He now you mentioned I mentioned that he did that in a past video. Like he was showing his Matt Cardona Zombie Sailors Series 1 figure, and
Yep.
he was kind of comparing it to Sal's Rush collectible figures.
Right.
And he's over there with all this might trying to pull these legs, just separate them, pull on the arms. It took him a lot of strength to rip those things apart. And then the Rush collectibles, obviously, you took it out of the package and it's crumbling in your hands, basically. I
Yeah.
call them Build-A-Figures.
Yeah. Right.
But
Definitely, dude. Yeah.
if you look at, what was it, the first figure or second figure that Grapplers and Gimmicks came out with the Ahmed Johnson,
Oh yeah.
I
Yep.
I still say that Ahmed Johnson is probably one of their best figures, but it's got a huge asterisk. When you take it out of the package, it's another Build-A-Figure. There is no insides, so there's
Yeah.
no weight to it, and head pops off, shoulder, chest, back. I'm like, wow. I
Yeah,
actually
man. Definitely.
I actually took that figure. Among the many pieces I sent to my buddy Rob Jackson to customize, he actually put some kind of filler inside the chest cavity. So when you hold the figure, not only is it glued shut so that it's never going to come apart again, but it's also got good weight to it. I looked at this figure. I'm like, I'm calling this not a Grapples and Gimmicks figure. I'm calling this a Robert Jackson figure because, I mean, he perfected it. I mean, they just basically gave you the outcast. Is how I feel about that.
Definitely, dude. I had the pleasure of owning that first smoke train, the first
Oh
Godfather from Grapplers and Gimmicks. That thing's
yeah,
kind of rough.
So, what was the first one? I think the orange was the first one, and like purple was the second, or
Yeah, there
vice
was like a
versa.
variant. Yeah, definitely. I didn't, not the variant. I just had whatever the regular one was, and obviously disappointed with that. But obviously, we see where they are now, so they learned.
Yeah, if it wasn't purple, maybe it was yellow pants. But
Yeah, that sounds right.
I do have that one. I finally bought a few months back, so I have that one loose, and I do have both variants carded. But this is back in a time when those darn grapples and gimmicks were selling for like $120 a piece, easy.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And buying these early stage figures from Zombie Sailors through grapples and gimmicks, it screwed up my head. It screwed up my mind process. And I'm thinking all of these things are selling for 120 plus dollars. Just because I was paying that doesn't mean other rational people, were paying those.
right.
So
Yeah,
I always bought I started buying like three figures for all of them, thinking, okay, you know what? I'll save this third one. If I need to sell it, I can get triple the price of what I paid on it,
right,
and it'll basically pay for not only the one I just sold, but it'll pay for the two figures I owned. And bam, that would be perfect, right?
right, right.
You quickly learn you sell these figures on eBay, they are 25 dollars. Oh, speaking of which, kind of a side note, I had the Red Trunks Mark Merrill grapplers and gimmicks. I think I had like $8 or $9. Let's say $8 shipping. I don't remember what the price was. So reasonable shipping prices. I put that up for a 99-cent auction last week. It sold today. Guess what
Yeah.
a Red Trunks grapplers and gimmicks Mark Merrill sells for?
Oh man, I couldn't even tell you go for it.
I paid $40 and I think shipping, whatever, or taxes. So I mean, it probably came out to like 45. I got a bunch of them because
Oh
I
yeah,
over ordered. Um,
yeah.
it sold today for $5.50.
Oh, ouch. Yeah, that's rough,
We're
dude.
we're talking about a perfect bubble, a perfect card, and this darn thing sells for. I mean, even if it was out of the package, sold loose, that's still got to be at least a $20 figure. Yeah. And seeing it go for $5, I'm like,
Yeah,
it makes me not want to sell on eBay because I've tried to do auctions because I want to sell the stuff. I want to sell the stuff quick. I've had it up forever. It doesn't sell. Let me try something different. And then I run into that instance, and it's infuriating.
yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. I definitely look on eBay and you can definitely find some deals. And unfortunate for the sellers, on their end, it's kind of rough out there, Like I find like the sites themselves are like expensive to get from, but on the resale, and maybe it's just me looking, like it doesn't look like it's like doing so like as well.
right.
I
Mm.
don't know if I'm right about that. You'd probably know more about that. So
I mean, I try religiously to keep up to date with what these things are valued at, but I always say that anything grapples and gimmicks, zombie sailors, title run toys, wrestle. I always say that they're $40 figures minimum because that's what they sell for a lot of the time for these companies. I've always said though, if you go through eBay, put them on auction, that's going to tell you their actual value. If people
mhm.
wanted to buy them, they would buy them when they come out. These things do not sell out, so that should never be an issue, right?
Right.
uh, if you're getting new LJN Mattel LJNs of Hulk Hogan, he's going to sell in like 2 minutes because you have a quantity in mind and it's gone in within like I said, a couple minutes. But
Right.
these things from Zombie Sailors, there's a reason they put them up on for half price around Christmas time. They're trying to
Hmm.
clear inventory and get some money back. And
Yeah.
they cost like $1 or so from the factory, and they're reselling them for $40. So
Right.
even if
Right.
they sell it half price, $20, they're still making a lot of bank on their figures.
Yeah, for sure. I saw actually Zombie had I think today, like a Columbus sale where like it was all damaged cards.
Hmm.
And yeah, there was some cheap, like those Bruce Lees were like 26 or something. So they
Way
had
too
some cheap
much.
stuff. Yeah.
No, Bruce Lee, I think it's a decent figure, but I think that's more like a $10, $12 figure, to be honest, on card.
Yeah.
All right. Rick said, hey, what's
Oh
up,
yeah.
guys? What's happening, Rick? Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Stalin is back in. Oh damn, Stalin, you sure about that? Damn. I tuned into beat Playtime's live stream today for a little bit. You know, I always get those notifications. Obviously, everyone I'm subscribed to, I have the notifications on. So whenever he goes live, you know, I try to watch as much as I can. I've had some long freaking live streams. I've had live streams go anywhere from 3 hours, 4 hours plus. The one I just did on Saturday ran for what was it, 5 hours and 10 minutes. So I feel like every week I'm breaking records. My live streams really shouldn't go any more than 1 hour. I mean, that's really well the bulk of it, but a lot of time I'm on there for like 2 hours and I'm drunk as hell and I'm just too sauced to actually know when to cut myself off and when to end the stream.
Yeah, yeah. I made sure to partake in my green before we came on, so I'm good right now. Pretty relaxed at open Paul Orndorff, you know.
Let's see. She did just post a proof of life video thing. Oh damn. Mm. Did you see the death threat? Oh, I didn't. Where is that at? It's clipped. I don't think it's posted yet. Damn. You got that Kamala Moonbelly. Hey Rick, I do have a Moonbelly Kamala. It's a custom. Now obviously the packaging is original. The figure itself is original, minus the customization on the stomach. So I just reached out to my buddy Rob, sent him that carded figure. I got two of them. So I won two of them on auction. Uh, two MLC Kamalas, and I was bidding on two of them for a specific reason because I wanted to send them out to Rob so that he could customize it. And then I had that Moonbelly for my personal collection, and then a second one if anybody out there wanted a custom MOC. Because let's be honest, a Moonbelly Kamala MOC is going for what, 20, 25, $30,000. So, you know, I paid, I don't know. If I'm throwing out a number. I'm just speculating. I don't remember. I'm gonna say $150 for a Kamala. Um, he didn't charge me a lot to customize it. It was a simple thing, probably $10 or so. Shipping. Maybe I was all in for like 175, let's say. So I think I was starting. I don't know what to list this at. I started at an extremely high number, and I gradually moved my way down because it's different. You don't see something like that on the market. Even a custom figure. Nobody's making custom carded figures.
Yeah,
And
man.
and you know, I call it a hybrid for a reason. I mean, everything is 100% original minus that one little small aspect that's added as a custom. You know, in this case, swapping the star for the moon. But Rick, I do so in that case. I mean, I always talk way too much. You guys know. But
That's all good, dude.
I do have that custom, but not an original for sale. You know what? I don't know about you. Like, what in your opinion is the most expensive figure out there? Because I'm gonna start off with what I thought. I thought 123 Kid was the most expensive figure because loose you're looking at like what, $900
Oh
carded.
yeah, yeah.
I've seen
Green card. Yeah.
$1,200 to like $2,500. You seen some of these prices for some of the Hasbro's alone, let alone other figure lines?
Yeah, man. I actually sent it to my buddy. I saw on eBay maybe a couple weeks ago. It was the green card series loose, and Billy Gunn was missing an arm, and I think it was like 2,500 with a missing
Insane.
arm Billy Gunn. I was like, man, that's rough. The carded, I don't even know, man. I look at it and I'm like, that's crazy, dude. Like I thought 123 Kid. I thought he would be the most expensive, to be
Yeah,
honest.
that's what. Oh shoot! I'm looking at the top of this phone. Somebody gifted us a couple of dollars. That is freaking amazing.
Oh, nice, dude.
That is cool, man, guys. Whoever did that, thank you so much. I mean, that is truly appreciative. Wow, that kind of that makes me kind of. I mean, it makes me happy as hell that people care about you that way. But man, kind of
Yeah,
brings a tear to my eye too.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, dude. Appreciate it.
But so I definitely kind of want to go with these comments, but I want to
Sure.
hear your opinion on this. To me, I think this is like the sole function for me. I want to know more about that figure because I want to see if it's something that's worth continuing with.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
just gonna let me see if I can. There we go. So yeah, right there, man. So I'll just pop her open and see what we're doing here. Um, Pretty good on the card, dude. Bam. All right, let's see what we got here. I'll show it up. Close look. I'll say I don't. I think a little thin in the arms, but I don't know what to compare it to. Maybe I have to see the rest of the series, but you know what I'm saying?
with that positioning and the way that the head is kind of downward, he kind of reminds me of a Lex Luger Galoob figure. So if
Yeah,
those
yeah,
were, stationary arms, those could
yeah,
actually, and they were a little harder, hard rubber, they could actually pass for Galoobs or being part of the Galoob style line.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, this it does kind of remind me of that. I mean, let me see the leg movement. Oh, that's just sort of like that earthquake or Bam Bam Bigelow, the
Oh, that's
leg.
pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's cool. So you can let me see if I get a dude. I got Jake the Snake's gonna get a pile driver, I guess. So yeah, I guess Bam. Actually, that's pretty cool. Boom. So yeah, that part's really cool. Um the face scan, I'm just not like 100 on. I'm not. I'm like, do I like it? Do I not like it? It's a little better out of the package. I'll say that.
Well, just
But
because it's not, none of these lines are really in line with Hasbro. Even Mattel Retros, which are supposed to be direct descendants, even they don't really capture the essence of the original Hasbro. And that's what's so aggravating with a lot of these lines. If I ever did my own wrestling line and we're creating, Hasbro style figures, I'd want them to look identical. Where if you were a new collector and you looked at my figures, you would not know the difference because they would just mesh so well. A lot of these, they're new perspectives, and you can appreciate that, but at the same time, you're so used to a line that you grew up when you were a kid. So,
yeah,
and none of these figures, I think KWK is the closest with the width of the body, but even those are a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier. That's why I kind of, say they're more Hasbro esque than Hasbro style. But as far as Orndorff, I mean, wrist, arms, head, I mean, is that all pretty strong for the most part, or?
yeah, actually, and pleasantly surprised because like I was like, oh man, please don't break apart. Like just because of what I saw though, because what I feel is not like that. It's like, I mean, no, it's not that bad. I haven't tried the waist. Oh, there is no waist, is there? Oh, the waist is. That's a little scary. I don't know if I want to break that seal. The
Feels weak
waist. Oh,
though.
there we go. All right, we're good. We're good. No, didn't come off. That's relieving. The head's pretty good. Goes all the way around. Up, up, down, down, left, right. BA select start. There you go.
Yeah, see, I don't think I'm a fan of that though. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily going to scare me off, from buying future figures, but it definitely means that I would keep them all carded, and I probably wouldn't invest, so much more money in a secondary figure that would open up. Now, if I'm on eBay and I'm doing an auction and they're selling a loose Orndorff and I win it for like $15, $15 payment compared to a $40 payment that a lot of these companies are charging. Huge difference, right?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I
I've
think for me, the price would have to be right, and I think we have to be hovering no better than like let's say $25 or so. I mean, I said I got this on auction for 26, so I think we're right in the ballpark.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so. I know that I was kind of anxious too because I'm sure you saw the Beverly Brothers. They're putting up for pre-order Friday.
Yeah, was that from Title Run Toys or was that Epic Toys?
That was Title Run. I don't know if
Yep.
Epic said it or did anything yet, but I know Title Run put up for Friday, so I'm like, oh man, because I wanted to I wanted to at least get a feel for what it's like, see what the figure is. But I mean, as far as like, you know, it's not like loose. They're not like coming apart. It's not like the Rush situation or the early smoke train or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like it's pretty it's pretty solid. Like it's not the most solid, but it's like not alarming to me at least. So
You know, the funny thing is, I think I'm probably like one of the one of the only people that still supports Rush at this point. And like I said, I would not have thought much about the business. And not until I actually spoke to him on the phone one day and realized that it's not a business, it's just basically one person.
right,
And I mean, it was a good conversation. Obviously, I do my review videos, and what I love watching about your reviews is kind of the same way. Hey, I love this figure for this reason. I don't like this figure for this reason. And a lot of time
hmm
when I'm doing those reviews, I get a lot of critique because you just have those guys out there who are just all over the sauce of this particular toy line.
yeah,
I've said I wasn't interested in all of these Ric Flairs from Big Rubber Guys. Not to mention that I've done a million reviews about them and they've always been positive. But I caught a lot of flack for that. Or maybe Grapples and Gimmicks had a particular set of figures I didn't like. The Harvey Whippleman or Mooney, I think Lord Alfred Hayes, they were all the
right,
exact same figure. So
right.
those could have been done a whole lot better. We
Oh,
talk
I
about the
agree.
stupid hats that just sit on the heads and don't move.
Oh man,
So
that kills me.
I was willing to give someone like Sal a second chance because I thought he was a decent person. But I'm constantly seeing these messages on these groups, these forums, right? And everybody's always writing his ass. Question is, are they being less patient or are they waiting within a certain bracket of time, which is copacetic with having this sort of anger? I mean, I bought a ton from him that it took
Yeah.
forever to get. I know how that is. Um, the NES, I think you said you bought some as well. The NES Pro
Uh,
Wrestling 3-pack.
yeah. I ordered. Actually, originally I ordered the Frankenstein and the Glow in the Dark one. But to do its credit, he did refund me actually for the glow in the dark one. So he did do that, but I didn't see anything for the purple one, like the original one or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I haven't seen that. And then the NES 3-pack, and then the Spellbinder, and then I got the special underwear deal or whatever. So so I mean, they all no the guy's ideas and what he shows are pretty sick, man. I mean, he comes up with some creative stuff. It's just like I'd like to see it happen.
Yeah, I kind of agree in that respect. I mean, he like Ahmad with Latuni, same thing, kind of like these out of the box ideas. So I like what he's come up with. The only, hey, Dwayne, you still there, bud? Mm. I would catch Dwayne in the. All right, so I don't know. I think we're having technical difficulties. Hmm. Yeah. All right, so I'll continue with the conversation, and then when Dwayne pops back on, he'll be good. He can jump in line with us. I don't think it's going to be way out there, right? So, like, let's talk Rush collectibles real quick. Retro figures. Obviously, of all the retros, I think they're the furthest off currently. Now they are making progress; they're getting better, which is great, but they're not quite at the level where they need to be, right? And I think, I lost Dwayne. Yeah. Do you think we will see the downtown figures by 2025? Yeah, that's up. Here we go. All right, cool. I
Technical
was concerned that
difficulties, man.
no, but I was concerned that I was gonna have to like end the stream and then like redo a new live because I didn't know if you could still use the same link or not. So that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I was like, oh man, like it was weird. I could see, and then I just had the black screen, you know. So yeah, I just went right back to the link, and it worked. So that's pretty sweet.
Heck yeah. So I
Hmm.
kind of like shot to the bottom in case you were messaging, and
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers was asking, do you think we will see the Power Town figures by 2025? And are you familiar with those Remco style figures? And
Oh yeah, yeah,
Gun,
yeah.
yeah. So
I
I
am. Oh,
yeah, because
go
I
ahead.
know I heard about them like last year, right? And I didn't know where to get them. I think you could also only buy them off Instagram, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't have Instagram until like a couple months ago, so I could never get those. Now I'm grateful, but were they even going to be worth the investment if or when they ever do come in?
Yeah. No, I didn't personally order, but I definitely I follow all the figure news, like um and I've been seeing that Power Town thing, I've seen it from what's his Kyle Peterson. I've seen it, on the major pod and all that, and that definitely sucks. Like, and I saw also that the interview that they did, what was it, Gagne and Magnum TA.
Yeah.
That didn't make them look too good.
So I kind of watched the recap from Kyle Peterson on that interview, and after watching Kyle for like 35 minutes, I'm like, you know what? He basically broke it down in a nutshell. I don't think I have to go back and watch an hour long interview from what's the word that they kept using for Kamala? Word salad. I don't want to listen to that word salad, you know. Uh, be upfront and honest. Hey, we're having these difficulties. They're not being produced for this reason.
Right,
You know, is
right,
there an issue with the factory? Is there an issue with the signing of the talent? It's whatever the case might be, but we just kind of make people feel like they're being crazy because they've been waiting 2 years or a year, whatever it's been for their product. People paid for it. That's their money. I don't care if you're making $7 an hour at a Sara Lee or if you're a darn CEO making 200 grand a year plus. Uh, Money is money. So
right.
people they're a little anxious when it comes to their money and their earnings. So
Yeah, geez, like I how long has it been? 2 years? Paul's fallen.
well,
It's okay.
I think it's only been like a year and months and a few months, but whenever I
That's
see
still a
these
long
messages,
time.
people are talking like and like it's been 2 years. So did this start in 23? I don't know. Like I think I only started hearing about them last year. So
I mean, that's just bad, like the not updating. I saw that on the site. That's crazy to me. Like
yeah,
no updates for anybody, and you spend that type of cash. Like I feel for the people that pre-order everything. Oh, actually, I feel bad for the people that pre-order anything, really.
yeah, and that's why I don't want to do pre-orders anymore. But there's certain companies with like Latuni, Big Rubber Guys, Epic Toys. I never have any issues. They get their stuff out on schedule. Like you do a pre-order with like Mattel Retros, you're not sitting around for 6 months to a year waiting for that stuff. That stuff usually ships within 7 to 14 days. So pre-order. I mean, I don't really consider Mattel Retros or Mattel Ultimate Edition figures, for example. I don't consider that to be pre-order. I just consider that to be a regular order that just ships instead of the next day within a week or so.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, those 4 packs definitely ship quick. I actually still got to get that last one, and I got to watch that review you did too.
So I gotta go back. I gotta catch up on some of these messages I've been missing out on. Kamala, I think I've seen that one. Surprise, she says it's not muted on her. She was there like, mm. I'm just seeing some of these responses, and that sucks. Hey, Rick, I see your donation, buddy, And I really appreciate it, man. That means a lot. Let's see. Proof of life.
Paul.
Serafina Marquis. I don't know what you wrote, but you didn't have to retract. I got to be honest. Whenever I see that in messages, I don't know how you feel, but I'm always like, I have like major OCD, right? And I would love to know what people said, and it just kills me that it could have been something good, and I missed it.
I have to spill the beans. Full disclosure, that's my girlfriend. So
Nope.
that's Mrs. Bum Shadows. So.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, she took it back. She's being a goof. What did I do? You retracted a message. Only the first one. Look at all the other ones. Oh, jeez. How many did you retract? Only one. Oh, okay.
How about a Bone Breaker with Camera Lady as his manager 2-pack? Hey, Rick. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, when looking at the MRW line was supposed to be all 2-packs. I wanted it to be original for two things. The first time you saw a 2-pack of LJNs in that format, right? And I wanted to have like LJN figures on a sort of Remco style, with like the card back being very similar. With the fact you're getting two in a pack, the way it's laid out the same way. So that's what I was looking for. And I'm not talking about those big boxes of that they came out with. No, when you look at a regular carded LJN, imagine instead of the card being that big, it would have to be like that big, because you'd have the two figures side by side. That's what I want. Now, for that, it has to be like a specialty creation, though, right? I realize that, because something that size, when people are going to put that on their shelves display wise, it's going to take up a massive amount of room. And you can't do that with every time, because you're only going to have, instead of putting 12 cards, maybe you only fit 3 or 4 cards on your shelf. So that's going to anger a lot of people. Damn. When I was in Fort Lee in 2004, every weekend when we got our time off, right? You work until about 12 or so, and then you sign out for the weekend, and you sign back in, 4 p.m. on Sunday. So I never left base when I was in the IT. I didn't leave base until probably the last week I was there. So that weekend, I'd always go to the PX and buy movies or TV shows, whatever. And I have my little small portable DVD player. And dude, it's happened again. I forgot what I was talking about.
Let me see. You were saying the last thing was about you had your portable DVD player, but before that,
I forgot why I was talking about Fort Lee though. I used to think I used to get drunk, and that's why I couldn't remember things. But
my memory is no better, dude.
But like, I would be perfectly sober, and I'd be like talking to my mom on the phone or something, having lunch, and I'd be talking to her. I'd go off onto this other segment, and I'd completely forget the original thought.
I've done that, definitely.
I mean, the one good thing about these live streams is it's proof for future occurrence. So when the doctor starts saying that, hey, you don't have dementia or anything, like, yeah, I do, badly, like really bad.
That's evidence,
Yeah, what they want is, hey, I'm at the stove, I'm cooking bacon, and oh, here's a butterfly flying around. I start paying attention to the butterfly and start chasing after the butterfly while my house burns down. That's the level that they want to call you. But every single time I do a live stream, I start talking about something. I have this big, huge topic or discussion, and I completely space on how I got there, so I have no idea how to complete the story.
Right. Yeah, dude, I hear you with that. Like, many appointment I've been late for just like petting the cats or like doing whatever, holding bunnies. I'm like, oh shit, I'm like 15 minutes late, you know?
Oh man, maybe it'll come back to me. I know we were talking about LJNs and turning the LJNs into like Remco 2 packs,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
somehow it spurned over to the military service real quick, and I wanted to talk about the PX, and I don't know why. I'm sure it made sense. I got
Is
nothing.
is it
I
something
got
to
nothing.
do? Is it something to do with the figure you're making with the military clothes?
I don't think so, but it'll come to me hopefully.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it'll come. It'll come, and it'll randomly just hit you right in the head, you know.
I'm hoping to get that tat covered. Check that 6, and I didn't see a live stream. Are you in? Hold on. Are you in? You're in Chicago, aren't you? So Illinois Central Time Zone. Yeah, man. Technically, it was supposed to be, 7 Eastern time, and we were just a couple minutes late. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the darn video to line up the right way. Everything was in landscape mode. I'm like, oh, forget this. So I want to put it back in portrait. Redid the live stream, but luckily
I was
everything's worked
late
out.
too, man. I was late. Late to the dance.
I think I may have logged in. Like I think I set you for like 7:05, and I think I logged in at like 7:02. So
Oh, all right. Well,
yeah, so like you were like right on time.
nice.
All right. I need to get that Title Run Toys Orndorff. I mean, like I said, a lot of these figures you get on card, they look spectacular. They are. It's just when you take them off card and they may not be the best of that you've got to offer. Now, kind of looking at this Orndorff loose, he kind of reminds me of a lot of the Macho Man figures, either from Latuni or from Wrestle Something Wrestlers with the arm positioning. So maybe that's worth a second pickup in the future. The fact that with the arms down, I mentioned he kind of reminds you of like a Galoob Lex Luger.
Yeah, definitely.
Guys like Typhoon and Earthquake from the original Hasbro line, they could switch those legs up. That way they could do the squash and everything, which is amazing. Bam Bam Bigelow can do the squash. With the pile driver with this particular piece, I mean that just it fits beautifully.
Yeah, I'm trying
So
to get Jake back up in it right now. Let's see if I can do it here. I think I got him. Hold up. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty cool. He has something to do with his finishing move. I mean, you know, get some
nice.
playability there.
I mean, I'm looking at the back of this card. I mean, it's not like if I were to just simply go by the people that I actually cared about. I mean, this is it. Paul Orndorff. I mean, maybe I could say Danny Davis. Have like a referee type
Yeah,
part of
right.
the lineup or something. But with Orndorff and these other 4 cats at $40 at least, that's $200. So imagine you got to buy 2 of them, four hundred
Right.
dollars plus shipping, taxes, maybe 425, 435. I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna make one video about these. I'm gonna do one video review. I'm gonna hang them up in their little plastic cases, hang them up, display. The figures, I'm gonna set them off to the side, display them on a shelf or something, and I will hardly ever take a look at them ever again.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, I guess it's like I don't know. It's a first shot, but still, they're just I don't know. There's just it's not like all right. I'll say my opinion. It's not like horrible, but it's not exactly like good. You know what I mean? It's like just a little off. Something's off about it. I don't know what exactly, but something's just throwing me off. Maybe I'll look at him next to Jake. If, I know they're not the same character, but maybe the faces aren't like I don't know.
You
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 know?
see like that sort of paler skin that Hasbro figures have. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I like the sort of cartoon esque caricature of the characters. I think that's why we all grew up loving that line. And
Yep.
I say that wrestling figures are like Superman. Who is your Superman? It's your Superman from childhood. If you grew up in the 30s, 40s, 50s, guess what? You grew up with George Reeves in the 1950s. If you grew up in the
Right.
50s, 60s, 70s, it could be Christopher Reeve and his movies in the 70s, 80s, etc. If you're a kid growing up in the 2000s, 2010s, Henry Cavill is going to be your Superman.
Hmm.
Like for me, I say Dean Cain is probably my favorite Superman, but I will probably never put anybody over Christopher Reeve as being the greatest Superman ever.
There we go.
But as a teenager, for 10 years, into my mid 20s, Smallville, one of the greatest shows ever, had one of the best Clark Kents ever. So, Tom Welling should be very high up on that list, right? So, action figures, same thing. If you were a kid of the 80s and you grew up playing with LJNs, they were your tour line. Those are the ones that you will love forever. If you grew up in the 90s and had Hasbro's and that's the one you play with mostly, that will always be your favorite toy line regardless. Bone Crunchers in the mid to late 90s, that's going to be their favorite for that particular reason. I look at Bone Crunchers, I'm like, this is one of the worst action figure lines I've ever seen in my life.
Definitely, dude. That's a rough figure line, man. Like some of those heads on those are like horrifying. They're like downright scary. Nightmare fuel.
So, Bone Breaking Action was like, yeah, man, you take those directly out of the package and, the arms swivel all week, the waist turns around. I'm like, how can these be brand spanking new and being already crummy made? Um,
Yeah, man.
so I did buy a bunch of BCAs and I think I tried buying a few early in the collecting phase, but didn't want them because they're just straight trash. And I actually got
Yeah,
rid of a lot of them, if not all of them.
yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
but Wrestle Something Wrestlers, they came out
Yeah.
with their own bone crunching figures, and their Blue Meanie and their Atom Bomb were absolutely spectacular.
Hmm.
So that got my interest into actually getting the bone crunchers. So I did pick up, a several series of bone crunching figures. I think 1, 2, maybe 1, 3, and 5 or something like that. So I
Yeah.
do have most of those. I do have an absolute tonnage of loose figures, but would I ever say that those were my favorite to collect or whatnot? Design, caricature, the look of they were just horribly, horribly made.
Yeah, dude. And a lot of like the gear was off. There's like this weird rock with like flood pants on. And like they say like the rock on his leg. It's like one of the worst figures. Like, oh, there's a Stone Cold that it looks like I don't even know. It's a nightmare, dude. Some of the scans are, some of the rock scans are pretty ridiculous. I mean, and they all don't really like match up. Like one will have one totally different face to the next one, and they're both horrible. So it's like,
Well, I could see them taking someone like Goldberg and Steve Austin and putting those guys, together with the exact same look. Just put them on a different card, call this Steve Austin Goldberg, and vice versa. You
yeah,
don't even have to create a new figure.
right, right, right,
Or
definitely.
maybe if they're both wearing, let's say they're both wearing white boots,
Right,
maybe Stone Cold is all white boots and Goldberg is white boots with like little gray shoelaces or something.
right,
Just
right,
enough of a difference to legitimately call them different figures.
right.
But
Yeah, same idea.
like the Bret Hart from Jack Pacific or from the Bone Crunchers are probably one of the worst action figures I've ever seen in my life.
Oh,
I
dude,
mean,
yeah.
it's horrible.
Those first two series too, like were so loose. It was like ridiculous. Like you'd move them and it would just swivel all the way around. I remember that.
Yep.
Like the first two series were really rough, and not like it got like extraordinary, after like series two. But I did notice a little difference. But they got loose. The Vader, that one's creepy. The Vader figure, that one's
Yeah.
pretty like weird looking.
I
But yeah,
saw the
there's
I
just
saw when Yeah, I saw when Fig Heel was talking about the Vader and mentioned how weird like the small mask on his face looked, and I don't know, like I think the Vader is probably one of my favorites. probably only because it is a Vader and the color of his singlet was adequate, matched his character. But yeah, the mask on his face was just super thin, weird looking. I get
Yeah,
it,
man.
but
I was pumped
well,
though. I remember when that came out because I was like, "Oh, sweet Vader," you know. Vader's awesome. I was like, yeah. So I know what you mean. He was definitely. Let me see my fig fit at the time. Yeah, he was probably laying down the destruction, building a path. You know.
do you know how talented, how skilled you got to be when you're 450 pounds and you're doing this huge somersault
I
backflip
know, dude.
and
Yeah,
you're
and
not absolutely murdering the guy that you're landing on?
yeah, and he did the full moonsault, like the full, like over, like the full circle. Like I know Bam Bam had one, and it was still sick that he could do that, but his was a little more to the side, where Vader went all the way, like a regular moonsault. That's crazy.
There's a good portion where I think Bam Bam was like the only person I ever saw kind of stand on the outside of the ropes and kind of fling himself over the ropes to clothesline someone and whatnot.
Oh
So
yeah,
I remember Bam Bam
slingshot.
doing stuff like that all the time. Or he would jump over the ropes, fling himself over the ropes, and kind of crush the person, squash the person inside to try and go for a pin. I'm like, dude, you're again, here's another 400 pounder. Like, how the hell do you have that kind of movement?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, then he bust out like the cartwheels. He had the cartwheels going. I remember early on. It's funny that they had him like as a face when he came in for a little bit, and then they changed him to heel, which I think works a lot better for him, or worked a
Yeah.
lot better for him.
And I don't know if I remember Bam Bam from wrestling or if I remember him for the very first time from the video game. I
Yes,
think it was
yeah,
WrestleMania. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, we used to play the
yeah.
WrestleMania video game, obviously, as kids.
Mhm.
Freaking love that game. I would probably argue one of the greatest games ever.
Yeah,
You
dude.
play that as an adult, and it's like, oh my god, what is this horse crap? This is the worst junk I've ever seen in my life. Uh,
Yep.
LJN with the 80s, early 90s wrestling games were horrendous. So
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I played the hell out of that too as a kid, and I thought it was like the best. And then played it as an adult. I'm like, this is great. This is really stupid. Like, I like there's just like items that relate to the wrestler, and they just float, and you're supposed to get them, and and the same song just plays over and over. It's like, man, how far we've come.
I think I call them playthrough videos, but they're not really playthrough. And I think the only reason I made those playthrough videos is because I didn't want to take the time out to plug this horse crap back into the system and play it. You know what? If I really have interest in watching WrestleMania or Steel Cage match or WrestleMania Challenge or any of those games, right? I'll put in my YouTube video and just watch my play and go,
There
oh
you
yeah,
go.
that's why I don't want to play that game no more.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it kind of just reminds you. Yeah, that was a rough one.
But I kind of feel like Sega Genesis with Raw and the Royal Rumble video game. I think that's when they really went uphill because those to me are like probably the best wrestling video games ever.
Yeah, dude, I was pumped. I had Super Nintendo, and when I got that game, it was like, TV's mine. I'm gonna be playing this forever, and forget school, forget everything. I'm just gonna stay home and play this. You know.
That's awesome. But wrestling video games, The Simpsons, all the different turtle games. I mean, those I
Oh
think they
yeah,
still hold up.
yeah.
Street Fighter.
Turtles the arcade game is sick. I love that one.
What else out there? Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. There's certain fight, even Tekken. Whenever that
Yeah,
came out, probably late '90s, maybe if I recall correctly. I don't know.
yeah.
Any of those
But
type of wrestling games or fighting style games, they're always going to be. They're always going to work no matter what decade you're in.
right,
Yeah.
not for sure.
All right, let's see what BBA says here. Just reading through a few. Hey, what's happening, Chris? Paul Orr of Hasbro style is a dream come true. Adrian Adonis coming is nice too. I didn't see the Adrian Adonis, but damn, if we got our
Yeah,
own door, I could see Adonis being added.
yeah. I saw they put something up about that, like just the art of it or whatever, not the actual like prototype or whatnot.
Ah,
But yeah, it does. It's a cool idea, and if they can pull it off. and hopefully improve a little bit from the Orndorff. That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
So the question is, do I dare buy this figure as a pre-order, or do I just wait and try to win it on auction for a good price again?
I know. That is the question. And Friday's kind of, I'm like, oh man, do I pre-order that from them? And it's like, I still don't know. I know Epic's coming out with one, and so and they've been pretty solid. So
Well, I know there's a lot of things I like making videos, right? I like doing reviews and what have you. So a lot of stuff let's say I'm looking at this lineup over here and I'm seeing these Funko 5.5 inch Remco style Street Fighter figures. And let's say I had blue Blanca and blue Chun Li. But there's also a pink Chun Li and a green Blanco to mesh. Okay. If I only have two of those variants, then I can't make this video because I've got all four figures, but I'm missing the two variants.
right,
Throw in Ryu and Bison, for example. So without the two variants, I got 4 out of 6. So I can't make this video. So I'll go out and I'll pay more than probably what they're valued just so that I can ensure myself I have this complete set so I can make a video on it. So that's why a lot of stuff that I bought, if I was patient, I could have got stuff for a lot cheaper over the years. And I just wanted to rush through everything, pick up as much as I could so that I could have something for my viewers, something special, right?
right, no,
But
for sure.
when I look at Paul Orndorff, this is what I'm talking about. This would have cost $40 individually with shipping, taxes. I don't know. Maybe shipping was free, but let's say TRT is free shipping, taxes. That's still going to put you at about $45. And
Yeah.
at that point, can you wait just 6 months or however long it takes? Wait till it sells on eBay. As long as they're not doing, buy it nows and they're actually doing, 99-cent auctions, $5 auction, $10 whatever, you're gonna get that for the price it should sell for.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was the same way. And the retro game, it was like get everything. But like these past few months, I slowed down, and I think it's paid off a little bit. Not so many hasty purchases, but it was like everything that comes out is like, oh man, pre-order here, pre-order there, and I only collect retro, and it's a lot, so I can only imagine, you know.
And um, the amount of upgrades I've made to my house this summer, and I said I wanted everything done by September, and stuff like the pool deck, for example, the guys haven't been back in over a month, so that time frame I missed out on that, but I wanted, like I said, big expenditures were gone. So by September 1st, I was done. And to this day, I'm still making upgrades. And I'm like, dude, you got to slow the heck down. And that's why it's also really impacted my ability to continue collecting. Yeah, space is a huge problem because I've maxed out my basement. Could I sell a lot of that stuff that really don't interest me very much? Could I sell all my zombie sailor figures? I really don't have any interest in those. There might be a few I'd probably keep for nostalgic reasons, but maybe an Andre, maybe a Bastion Booger, Jeff Jarrett, for particular reasons. What like Bastion Booger and Jeff Jarrett, they were Series 12 Hasbro if they existed. So
Yeah.
something like that would have to be kept. But in my main display room, I had my door littered with all of the zombie sailors, and then inside that storage room, the wall littered with zombie sailors. But then I also had more shelves because I ran out of space. Those those are all in the garage now, not even being looked at every day,
Yeah,
because one, I ran out of space for zombie sailors, but also I've lost my interest in the line.
yeah,
So I replaced the more expensive zombie sailors in my display room with the cheaper Mattel retros. But I
yeah,
like the
man.
retros better.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know that the Macho Man that kills me because Macho Man's my favorite wrestler, and like I love WrestleMania 7 because Warrior is one of my other favorites. And they went at it there, and it's like, oh, sweet. And I was excited until, I did the whole, zoom in, and that I don't know, something with the arms, man. Like I don't know what his obsession is with the arms being like long, but it is long. Like I did look at it, and I wasn't like huge on the scan or that like hair. The hair was kind of weird too to me.
And I didn't even think about the arms. Like I owned the entire first series, but like I never paid attention. Never didn't notice anything. But of course, at that time, all I had was cards. I wasn't collecting loose figures. It took me a long time before I started collecting duplicates, so I could have a actually Bone Breaking Action was the motivation to get the loose figures because it just helped me do a better review and whatnot. And I wasn't
Mhm.
just simply showing off the cards. So I'm like, that's a great recommendation.
Right,
So
right.
it definitely improved the videos a whole lot, I think.
Yeah,
And I do like having loose figures because I like being able to hold them in my hand and actually being able to feel that artwork.
yeah.
Today, this stuff, it's my art. I'm not going out putting up posters or paintings, right? Or I don't have any family photographs. So this is my artwork. This is my wife hates every fiber of this, but
Hey
this
man,
is
you
this
gotta
is
do it.
it's history. It's nostalgia. Like I don't know, man. Like I said, my play during childhood was so limited. It's only a matter of a couple of years, few years maybe. And then I kind of like lost interest, didn't really collect anything or didn't have any toys in the future. And then once I got into like, my first major job, I'm not talking necessarily Chicago, I'm talking Army, when my pay was actually pretty decent. Still, in the Army, you're making like $1,000 a month. When I hit my limit, I was making like 2 grand a month, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah, I lived on family housing, so with the housing allowance, I probably lost $1,000 a month, but you're still living paycheck to paycheck, and I wasn't able to get any of this stuff. So I spent from 2010 to about 2022, not nonstop, of course, but just I had my breaks in between. But I spent those years in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Kuwait, and when I finally came home, yeah, because I got injured, and that's why I came home. I started selling a lot of stuff on eBay, a lot of like old military gear and stuff like that. I started making good money, and I just started buying stuff that brought back nostalgia for me. And then suddenly that kind of expanded into wrestling. And when I started wrestling, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get these figures. This is what I had as a kid. It just turned into everything from Hasbro, and I didn't even know about LJN. Not really. Start collecting all of LJN. Finished all of these lines. What happened? I don't want to stop collecting.
Right.
You collect customs, you collect repaints, which customs, you collect variants and air cards or air figures. You go out and you actually buy all of them again on mint on card. It's like so it really took a hold of me and it brings joy. Every day I look at this artwork, it brings me joy. So I think every fan can kind of feel the same way. If it brings you joy, happiness, it's not hurting anybody, I say hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. No, it's I'm the same. Mine are all loose, but like I said, it's not just for the fig fed. It's for my own like nostalgia. Like just to
Hmm.
be able to like pick one off the shelf, or just like pick up a Virgil and laugh. Like just like, but have like the memories of being back in the day with the fig fed and just like, man, those are the times.
Right on.
Yeah, man, for
I'm gonna hit
sure.
up some
Oh yeah,
of
yeah.
these comments here. Let's see what we got here. Uh, Adrian Don saw that one. So L pre-ordered the Orndorff. Um, did you ever get that one in yet? The face is wonky. I mean, I don't know. For this particular line, I think the face is perfectly fine for this sort of for this sort of lineup. Um, any toy line, right? Minus LJN. I think LJN is probably the one the one series, the one toy line. I kind of disagree with this, but most toy lines, what's going to happen in the first series? It's your first release. So when you come out with the second, you're going to make a lot of upgrades and improvements from that first release. Like Hasbro, I say Series 1 was the worst release. I say Series 2 was second worst. Once you get to Series 3, I say Series 3 has the best lineup of figures, accessories, characters, fighting pose, design. I think the quantity. 12 figures compared to these other series that had 6 releases, 8 releases, 10 releases. So it's why Series 3, in my opinion, was my favorite, even though I didn't have anything from Series 3 when I was a kid. So we jumped to like Series 2, which we had a lot of, to Series 4 with Bulldog, Undertaker, and Bret Hart, and that was it. I didn't even know about any other figure or any other character that came after. So when I got into collecting, this is still all brand spanking new to me, and that's why I think I can really appreciate it a lot more than someone that maybe he grew up with the stuff, and they have a certain affection for it, of course, but if this guy had been collecting this since he was 20 and he's now 55, he may not have the same appreciation anymore because he's got decades to enjoy that product. Me, I've only had items for a year, 2 years, 3 years, etc. So I'm probably gonna spend many years left to enjoy all of these.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, I meant to say, like, if I haven't said in like any Facebook messages or whatever, dude, like your
Yeah,
collection is like amazing, dude. Seriously, like, like wow, I'm blown away, dude. Seriously, you have one of the best collections I think I've seen.
thanks, bud, man. And there's a lot of obviously people that impressed me. Obviously, Cal Peterson, his collection is just insane. Fig Heel,
Yeah,
I love the layout of his collection, of course. There are a couple other big guys. I forget the one dude, but he has like the most extensive LJN Remco collection on the planet. Every single carded figure. I mean, you're talking Matt Mania carded figures, pristine condition. He has prototypes. And I don't know if it was Kyle Peterson or somebody was giving him an interview. And I saw this video a few years ago. I'm like, dude, that's where I want to be. And I think that's why I went all hot and heavy into getting all the carded figures. Because I really wanted to reach that level.
oh man,
But
yeah,
damn, was that expensive? I don't know if I would
man.
do it again. If I went back in time, I don't know if I would buy all the carded pieces.
Oh man, I don't blame you, dude. It's like, yeah, you must just like every day if you need to just like calm down or something, just walk right through your toy collection, take a take a minute, just like breathe out, you know. That's awesome, dude. Like your collection, but the price, yeah, it will hit you, dude. It'll catch up to you. It sucks.
Heck yeah, shoot. And I could have definitely used that money this summer.
Oh man, yeah, I hear
Let's
you, dude.
see. L says probably Orndorff is the only title run toy I would get for the leg movement, and I think a lot of us could pretty much agree on that. I didn't know that it had that movable legs, but adding that aspect into the action figure, I think is incredible. I've always said with any Hasbro, for me, legs can be stationary; they don't have to move. Now, I love the fact that like I said, like a earthquake has the movable legs because that was his finisher, the little squash. So something like this works beautifully. But look at Shawn Michaels, Matt and Jeff Hardy. Uh, who else is on there? Nikolai Volkov, for example, right? All the figures that have that one leg kick up, they are probably the worst action figure, or at least among the worst ever made. Forget the design. That whole leg kicking up, it doesn't stay down. It's so sensitive. You barely tap it, and it shoots back up. Or you got to kind of like bend the body, bend it back like so, to
Mm.
kind of balance and push the leg out to make it stand. So annoying. I hate that. So this looks like this could stand relatively easy on its own. You shake a table, he's gonna stand, which I like. So I don't mind, legs being able to be moved around,
Yeah,
especially if
no,
they're not very sensitive.
it does stand pretty good, man. Definitely. I'll say I when you were bringing up that foot kick, I'll tell you, dude, like I hate that. And I hate how like Mattel made all the Hogans with that. Like, even the rip like they made like that. So it's like, and as far as like trying to like take pictures or tape that stuff,
Yeah.
like they'll stay still for a second to kick out and knock everything over. It's like, oh man, I hate these.
And with the LJN inspired one, the red shirt Hogan and the Rip Thomas, they just use the exact same figure, just repaint it. So
Yeah, yeah.
I always say I mean, there are scenarios like Hasbro Bret Hart from Series 8, same exact figure as Series 4, with a beautiful repaint though.
Mm,
Series 4 Bret Hart's already a perfect action figure. So
yeah.
I can understand not wanting to come out with a completely different mold for that release. So there are certain scenarios where I'm perfectly fine with a sort of with repaint if they got the perfect pose already. But Mattel, I mean, it can't cost that much to create a new mold, man. Especially knowing how much money that they're gonna make with those sales.
Right.
So I would have loved to have seen a completely different figure. Maybe put him in like a Diesel pose or something. Because
Mm,
Diesel and Braun Strowman, they have the same pose and they're the best figures in the lineup.
yeah. Yeah, definitely, man. I agree. Like of all the characters too, like to strap Hogan with that. But like you said, like Jeff Hardy, it was Nikolai Volkov, all those. I think Sami Zayn might have had that. That I hate those. Those I wish they would just do away with that. I did see on some upcoming ones that Ringside has that there's like a kind of hook arm they're doing now, kind of like this, like not exactly, but you know what I'm saying, like kind of
But
like this arm, like
little
Mr.
teacup
Perfect
one.
kind of.
Yeah, the teacups, I
Yeah,
call them.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Teacups. Yeah, so I mean, see, I
At
forget
least
what I was
they're,
talking about too.
yeah, at least they're somewhat improved. So I like that. So question. My least favorite wrestling figures, has to be guys like Macho Man from original San Francisco. His arms are just in tight, hands fused to the side. Horrible play pose. Uh, Ron Simmons Galoob, which I had as a kid, hated playing with that figure. It was just unserviceable. But then I think about things I didn't have as a kid. Well, I didn't have that Macho Man, but I think about like Ric Flair and Rick Rude and 1, 2, 3 Kid from Hasbro. The stupid, arm punch and whatnot, right? So
Mm.
that could be among the worst action figures ever. I think about Jimmy Snuka, Rick Rude, LJNs. Uh,
Oh,
what, in your opinion, what do you think is the worst wrestler, worst action figure created? Because I'm thinking the whole Ric Flair, Rick Rude, Hasbro is not going to go down as my least favorite anymore. I think it's probably going to go down to the Mattel retros with like Goldberg and Triple
yeah,
H, where they're fused legs and their hands are like this close in. You bring down the hands, they're like this. I
yeah,
mean, like as a kid, how can you play like
yeah.
as
That's a
horrendous?
rough one. Yeah, no, that's a rough point. Yeah, I didn't get that either. I think Triple H has that too,
Mhm.
and it's like, why? Why are you doing this? Like I when I try to like film the spear, it sucks because like his arm's so tight, it just looks like a shoulder block. I can't like get it right, you know. So I definitely feel you on that one. But the worst, yeah, that's a wow. I have to think about that, I think.
I at least think I like the fact that they're stable. They're stable on the shelf for the most part. Like they're not constantly falling over. Like rockers from Hasbro. I love that set. They're very simple, plain set, but they're a set I had when I was young. They're my only tag team that I had when I was a kid. So played the hell out of those. I always loved the Marty Jannetty figure. I thought it was amazing. Sean with the open hand that always bothered me with the reverse hands. I'm like Marty Jannetty was always the one I kind of went to the most. And as an adult, I look at bushwhackers and I look at rockers, and even though they're evenly balanced, the legs and the chest are evenly balanced. They constantly fall over, and that's infuriating. But when I look at like head shrinkers, which are very top heavy, and you think, okay, bam, they're gonna fall over every time, but they don't. They
Mm,
constantly stand up. So when I look at like the guys with the hand, I think Six is another one that has like his hands super. I mean, there's a ton of them, but they got their hands all in tight. They're fused
yeah.
legs. Why do those stand better than the rockers when they're
Hmm.
not as balanced? I
Yeah.
was always so that's always been kind of like a frustrating concept, especially when these things fall off the shelf and they get damaged, and you're trying to have like mint loose collectibles available, right?
Right, man. And actually, it made me think too. I think Road Dog has that, except his hands are like for the DX chop.
Yeah.
Like he's that made me think of that. I was laughing, but yeah, those suck. There's no denying that they could have came up with something better, man. For the arms, at least.
Cool, cool, cool. Let's see. I'm going to try and go through some of these questions because I know I'm way behind.
Oh
Um, Pirates podcast. Wow.
yeah,
But you know what? Hey, now that you mentioned that pirate podcast, I did kind of mention to you that, and I kind of put as a special. I bring it up in this video. So Maniac Right Wrestling, and I mentioned a third figure that I wanted, but there's enough of me, right? I don't want to create another figure of me. And I think you had the perfect look. I mentioned that to you many times, and I think you kind of blended beautifully with that specific pirate design. We know that there's only like four figures, five if you do a variant of me, six if you do a variant of a bone breaking action, but really just four figures. And I'm like, what if I surprise the viewers and introduce a fifth release for that series? But I'd have to make it super special, right? Like, if I'm doing 500 units from the factory, I don't want 500 units of this figure. I want maybe 50 to 100 units. I might have to pay up a whole lot more for that, but how amazing would it be to have a Bum Shadows wrestling figure?
oh man, no, that'd be awesome, dude. I guess it's like the dream, you know. That's what it's all about. And I like, and I think we talked about it, like how you're doing, like starting with like the YouTubers and stuff, and then seeing where it goes from there. Because I think that's pretty cool, you know.
I
So
mean,
yeah, that'd be
uh,
awesome, man.
well, I like it because it's a unique idea.
Hmm.
Nobody out there is actively doing it. Rush Collectibles, they were very close when they released Chris Van Vliet. So I
Hmm.
never heard of that guy, if we're being honest. I bought his figures because I was buying everything Rush Collectibles.
Right.
So I got a couple. Actually, I probably have multiple figures of him in blue suit. I don't know if I got his plum suit or not, but so I got
Right.
him. And even though I wasn't thinking about that when I came up with this idea, I realized that it's probably a Sal original idea. So I got to give him some credit on that one. But
Hmm.
nobody's creating LJN figures of the YouTubers that cover wrestling. Uh, I mean, I can't just go out and make a wrestling action figure of Sandy, who works at Denny's. I don't know. I just made up a name here. So it has to be that somebody actually knows about, right?
Right.
I'm
Right.
not the biggest channel in the world, not even close. I consider my channel to be a very small channel. I mean, I'm expanding quickly these last couple months, but hell, I probably got more than a third of my active subscribers in the last month alone. Now
Right.
that's freaking amazing. But I'm still a
Yeah.
small channel, but at least people watch me. They know who I am. Especially if I'm making a line created by me, it kind of makes sense.
Right.
So
Yeah. Definitely.
going off the guys that actually make wrestling videos, or maybe they're commentators for an indie show or something, I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. For sure.
Bone Breaking Action, he's mentioned, hey, there, like, here is the Andy podcast, and guys like that, little indies wrestlers here in Kentucky that I could probably reach out to. And I think that's a brilliant idea, but
Hmm.
I'm still in the very early stages. I've been talking about this month for months. I was really hoping by this process everything would already be in motion with being made, but every time I every time I put something out there, right, I get some excuse from the factory as to why they can't produce that, that design or whatnot. So it really put me a lot further back than I'd like. Um, at some point, I'm probably going to have to stop talking about it because there's really not going to be any more additional updates. But
Yeah.
as long as something comes up, as long as there's something to talk about, I'll try and keep that dream alive and kind of keep that Maniac Right Wrestling line alive in people's heads so that they don't forget about it and can
Yeah.
inquire about it.
For sure, man.
But
For sure. I mean, that's like I've told you, it's like it's awesome what you're trying to do, man. Like seriously, it's really And I like the idea that you have, and I like the independent wrestler idea too. I think that's pretty cool because that's another merch item, you know?
Heck yeah. If they can sell their own figures at their site for like 150 bucks, they just sign it. And I could see, fans paying $150 to the actual wrestler for an autographed piece. Question is, would it be worth the turnaround? Because I'm gonna probably be asking 100. So if I sell it, if they buy it for me for 100, can they sell it for 150? If the answer is yes, would $50 profit be enough for them?
Right.
Maybe they want $100 profit, which means I'd have to buy it for or sell it for 50 bucks. And right now, as much as I want my product to go for $50 price tag, I did the math, and that's basically going to put me at bare minimum, even possibly take a loss by a few hundred to a couple thousand. So
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I have to do 100 just to kind of ensure that there's something left over for the next one. So that's where I'm at. And who am I doing though? Like originally, Jason Up New Age Revolution was the original first go to for the release, but ever since I got that prototype in for the four figures, Bone Breaking Action has really stood out to me. I
Yeah.
love the design. I love the look at it.
Yeah.
The look
Yeah.
of the figure. I mean, the pose. We're trying to work on an alternate, but for a first go around, I mean, I think it was spectacular.
Yeah, man. That figure is awesome. Like it's it looks just like him, man. Like it looks just like him. Like when I'm watching the stream and like I don't know when it was, but when you were showing them and he was on with you, and
Yeah.
like just oh man, it looks just. I like how you were saying too. Like the shirt actually is raised with the letter, the BBA on it and everything.
Yep.
And BBA is just like he's just like he's just interesting to look at, you know. Like his look is like really like eye catching. No pun intended. But you know, his look is very eye catching. So and he's a good guy, and man, his channel is awesome. And like I'll even say this to anybody, like please subscribe to Bone Breaking Action, dude.
Hell
You know?
yeah. Um, let's be honest, man. Like pretty much anybody that I watch, I mean, I'd probably recommend. And I don't have that kind of influence. I can't have 1,000 people that are subscribed to me to subscribe to someone else. But absolutely, Bone Breaking Action. I mean, I've been following his channel for a number of years. So I started this channel 3.5 years ago, and I was probably watching him even before then, possibly. I kind of feel like I've been watching him since like 2020. I don't know if he's been around that long, maybe, but
Wow, man.
like when I started watching his stop motion videos, I kind of feel like I've seen those videos in the past. And at one point on my YouTube, I had like 5,000 subscriptions
Oh
because
shit.
if I watched a video and I liked the video, I subscribed to the channel. It could have been like here's a place in Columbus, Georgia, doing a news report on this criminal incident, and I subscribed to that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
maybe I was subscribed for like 10 years, and I never watched another video from them ever again. So
That's
there was
awesome.
a point a couple years ago, I did like a mass reconciliation of what I have as my subscriptions. So I went from like 5,000 plus 5,600, 5,300, large number, and I brought it down to like 125 or something. Now,
Man, wow, that cut it down.
and I think I cut it down even further to like 75, 50 over the next year or so. So I mean, I still have a lot of subscriptions on my Waddy's channel YouTube.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I have my other Matthew Watson, Gmail, YouTube thing that I kind of like watch all my videos on anyways.
Right,
So,
right. That's cool.
but
Yeah, man.
but that helps content creators out because hey, they basically get two subscriptions for me.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. Double it up. Nice,
I'm gonna
dude.
go through
Oh
some
yeah,
more.
yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. All hail the Deathmatch King with the missing arm. Say what? In the chat. Oop. That's funny. Da, da, da. Hmm. Oh damn! I'm just reading some of these comments. They're classic. I
Uh,
swear to God, I get like the best comments.
oh no, dude. Yeah, I'm in there pretty much like every time you have one, and it's fun. It's fun to comment, and a lot of the
Absolutely.
people in there, like you show up and everything. Like I don't know if he's there, like Fly the L, I know, and E Ross and
Hmm.
Lance Bass, and and I'm just pulling that right off the top of my head. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
you end up seeing people, so it's cool.
they're regulars, so they're
Yeah,
all awesome dudes.
for sure.
Uh, Wax, hey, what's going on, bud? It's the I think my wife was watching. She's like, "Oh no!" Probably saw the incident where the channel got cut off. Power Town figures. I think we talked about that. There is our bum shadows. Ornov got angry. You were dissing his figure. I mean, again, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. And I think if I were gonna go for any TRT figure, this is the one. I mean, the only thing I could probably go for is Wrath because I like the overall look and design.
Mm,
I mean, this Guerrero figure, I like the mask. You know what? They all look good, man.
yeah,
But
I
like,
like.
no, just because I like it's like Rush Collectibles. When I first got Rush Collectibles Series One, I thought they were great. I liked them on card. I love. I think Rush Collectibles has one of the best card backs. I love those
Yeah,
designs. But
yeah. I have to say they do. They're really like creative and like artsy, but like cool. You know what I mean? Yeah, they had a nice card back for sure.
I love the fact that they put Series One, Figure One, Figure Five, Series
Hmm.
Two, Figure Three, etc. I like that. I love that a lot. It shows you your back, gives you a nice bio card, good graphics. Shows you the lineup of the figures of the part of that series. I think that's awesome. So they
Yeah,
did a lot of great things that I would want to be on part of my card backing. It's just the creation of the figures. Now it's not like he went out and built these figures himself. He paid a factory to do it, and they screwed it up.
right.
I mean, we can all blame, nitpick and blame the man all we want, but I get it. With that being said, I mean, I've done my reviews where some were positive and then they got negative.
Mhm.
Uh, Once I kind of like, hey, I'm not going to collect this line anymore. He reached out to me, spoke to him. I kind of realized the kind of guy he is. I talk to him from time to time, not a lot, but he'll reach out, like wish you a Merry Christmas and stuff. And I'm like, you know what, that's pretty freaking awesome.
Mhm.
Happy New Year's. So I'm like, cool, man. Like I think we're Facebook friends too. So I think he like wished me a happy birthday. So I
Mhm.
like that. He does look out for his customers. I think if some guys now, I think I remember you writing a message about this as well, and you had a lot of issues with them, and I'm like,
Right.
I'm with you on that. I mean, I 100% agree. Like I read that thing, and I'm like, you were making a lot of really good, solid arguments, and I think everyone that has bought from him has pretty much said the same thing.
Yeah, no.
I think I was decided to go back and give him a second chance because I thought after that conversation, maybe it was worth, reinvesting or, re-believing in this particular
Mhm.
line because
Right.
I do want to support, obviously, the small businesses. I
Mhm.
think that's impactful. How do
Right.
these small businesses become the next Hasbros, the next Mattels, etc.? They have to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
But even if I start supporting him a little bit more, like being a little bit more understanding. Even I can appreciate the fact that hey, there's a lot of stuff that we bought and we've been waiting on, and stuff hasn't come in, so they're not just being delivered on. Power Town, people have bought the stuff, they're not being delivered on.
Yeah.
Zombie Sailors, they buy the stuff or we buy the stuff and they're not being delivered on. Product failures or long lead times, etc. So that's one of the biggest arguments from my line, if it ever happens, no lead time, no pre-orders. You're gonna get the figure when you buy it.
Right.
So
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I'll say as far as Rush, yeah, I got pretty heated about it for a little bit, and then kind of just calmed down because I was just like, man, like when are these coming? What's going on? But it's you know, it if he comes, what I was saying is if he comes through and sends me the product, and even if it isn't the greatest in the world, I'll be happy with it.
Just
I'm
because
not
you
gonna
got the
like
money paid for,
bitch
yeah.
or say like, oh, I want money. I just want the product. That's what
So
it comes down to.
well, one of the biggest issues with them is that a lot of people aren't getting their refunds, and I don't even know if he's even capable of refunding anybody, and that's no excuse. Like, I paid for this
Mhm.
stuff. I want my money back. Give me my money back. That's there's no
Yeah,
ifs or buts about it. Um, I started like giving him some more leeway once I realized it was a one man operation, and having issues with the factory. I mean, I like that update. At least it tells you, something, right? Just tell your fans something so they know what's kind of going on. I was expecting to have like this 3-pack by Christmas, and I was expecting this back in like June, March,
yeah,
earlier this year. Whenever I bought the item, and at this point, there's been no updates. I don't think it's going to happen. But like, if he sent out a message to everybody, hey man, there's some back orders. It's gonna take a while. This 3-pack is gonna arrive. Expected delivery June 2026.
yeah,
Yeah, I could say okay, it's almost a year out. Uh, let's call it 10 months, eight
yeah,
months. We'll be at 8 months. It could be 8 months out, but at this stage, I'm like, at least that would tell you, hey, you have an answer of when you're gonna get your item, and you're not just sitting around. But when I had to cancel my Winnie the Pooh order, I reached out to him, hey man, if this isn't gonna happen, can I get my money back? And he refunded me. So like,
mm,
I haven't had any problems with getting my money back when necessary. And the one thing I was disappointed with the Winnie the Pooh figures individually is I know they're called mini brawlers, but I thought they were gonna be the same size as Hasbro, and I thought they were gonna be like in scale with the 4 inch, 4.5 inch figures. And then he's like later on now they're like 3 inch figures, and I'm like, well that sucks.
oh man,
And then the whole order was canceled, and I'm like, and then he was able to refund me, which was awesome. But they also had like those 7 inch Winnie the Pooh figures as well, the larger ones, and those look spectacular.
hmm
And you brought it up as well, but uh, there was a message on Facebook that this toy company that bought all these figures and he never got his items, never got his refund. Sorry that other toy businesses were acting in this way, type of deal. And
right,
I feel bad for the guy because I don't know if he's gonna can try to expand Rush Collectibles or if he feels like he's done. At
yeah,
this point, I feel like he needs a full rebrand,
yeah,
changing the lube to original San Francisco toy makers or something type of rebrand.
yeah,
Because, but once they find out who the owner is, he's gonna run
yeah.
into the same issues.
Yeah, man. You're right. He definitely has to like get some sort of fresh start because like I've even told him and I'm still standing by it, like I'm not ordering anything off of again after this, you know what I'm saying? So like I'm hoping that he can like turn it around or like and what you're saying, and that's what I don't get is like the not the con no contact, like no updates. And when I did try to contact him for like a refund, he just kind of like ghosted me, and I'm like, man, like just answer me. Like just answer if you just answer me, I'll be fine. Just tell me what's going on. But for some reason between him and I can get a little sharp with the tongue and stuff. So I did say some things, but so in fairness. So it's just been kind of one of those deals. But I'd say in the last few months, I just let it go and just I've been sitting back and just seeing what's going to happen. Really waiting to see, which is a crappy situation to be in.
So, what do you think about those NES Pro Wrestling figures? Because, I mean, obviously, when you look at all of his other figures, not quite Hasbro, not at all. The hardness of the plastic. I mean, it feels more like resin than plastic.
hmm
So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
I don't like that. I mean, the skin tone, the facial features, it just looks very customy. And fans on Facebook are saying the same thing. A lot of these companies, they are nothing more than glorified custom makers or custom figures, and that's kind of how I'm feeling with a lot of these companies. Um, Even with Mattel coming out with their retro figures, they're not in tune exactly like Hasbro. So I feel like only Hasbro has the ability to actually make them with that exact design, that exact look,
Yeah, yeah,
and
I'd say so.
that's another reason why I didn't want to make Hasbro style. Why I wanted LJN style figures. I just felt like there were more value based on size and weight, and there are just so many Hasbro style figures, Hasbro style companies out there. I didn't want to be added be one more to the list,
Right,
and I
yeah.
kind of feel like we all could be made much better in LJN form
Hmm.
than these little 4-inch figures. So
Right. Yeah. The like retro or Hasbro market just exploded, man. But I remember Zombie was the first I remember coming out, and then from there it just exploded, man. Now what are there, like 10 or more like independent companies making them, making the same characters. In the case of the Beverly Brothers, making the same mold in the same like character, with the Beverly Brothers. So it's really flooded, man. You know what I mean? And that's why it's like pick and choose for me these
so you have Rush Collectibles, and yeah,
days.
I think you mentioned that you have them open. When you look at your Paul Orndorff, does he kind of remind you more of like something that was created by Rush Collectibles, or do you think he's something that maybe Grapplers and Gimmicks would have created?
Um, I'd almost say like in between, if that's fair. Well, actually, I get actually a grapplers and gimmicks. I get this cape, which is really sick. This cape,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'd say somewhere in between. It's a little more cartoony than like the G&G or whatever. So I'd say it stands in between, but like the feel of it is it's a little different. It's kind of heavy, I want to say. A little heavier. I don't know. I don't know much about the types of plastic, but it's definitely like different than a Hasbro or even a G&G, it looks like. Because he's got the shine, the Hasbro shine on his, where this is a little more kind of dull.
So I
But
want to know what kind of percentage of rubber or plastic these businesses are using, because when you sit there and you knock on a Hasbro figure, it's a little bit softer, a little bit more hollow, and you can hear the difference when you compare it to a Wrestle Something Wrestlers, a Grapplers and Gimmicks, a Rush Collectibles, etc. You knock on those zombies say the same thing. They're hard as a rock.
yeah,
So I'm like, these aren't plastic. These remind me of my resin LJN customs. They're just that. They're statues.
yeah,
So I mean, I know that a lot of these companies, they put on their packages 18 plus or something like that, or adults only, right? Because I mean, these aren't going to kids. These are going
right.
to adult collectors who are displaying them. And I'm looking at this card. All of these other companies, Latuni, Big Rubber Guys, I think Grapples and Gimmicks, or maybe Zombie Sailors. One other company does that too, where they put like 18 and above.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing
Yeah, I
like that
noticed
in this
that.
card, right? So
Yeah,
you buy that figure for your kid and he's playing with it. Is that something that's going to immediately break in his hand, very soon, because it's more of a statue and not necessarily a playable toy for kids to use? uh, that's what I'm trying to get away with a lot of these businesses. They're all making these hard, I'm going to call them resin. I don't think they're plastic. I think they're made out of resin because again, they're hard as a rock when you knock on them, and that's not how the feel of the figures are supposed to be.
right.
When I look at the figure collection store with Wrestle Something Wrestlers, when I look at Hasbro toys, grapplers, and gimmicks, I say yes, those two are the closest to Hasbro, but they're still way off. There's a huge difference. You will never
Yeah,
confuse a Hasbro with
yeah.
a grapplers and gimmicks figure.
Yeah, exactly, man.
So,
Yeah, I'll say too. Yeah, I forgot to mention that FC Toys does a really good job. I opened that Scotty Too Hottie,
Yep.
and that was a really good figure. I mean, I couldn't complain anything about that. It was for what it was really nice. Obviously, he was out of like the Hasbro era and everything, but it was still a really cool figure. It's really nice, and they
Yeah.
are close to Hasbro or closest.
Cool. What was I gonna ask? Oh, back Orndorff and the reason I asked about Rush Collectibles or what was the other one I asked about? Grapplers and Gimmicks. Because when Rush Collectibles and Grapplers Gimmicks started, both Mitch and Sal used the exact same factory, and I guess that's where you got that crappy Smoke Train and the
Yeah,
crappy Ahmed Johnson, right?
right.
So Mitch switched up, went to a new factory. I guess Sal was still using the same one, and that's why when he was looking at his first series, why a lot of those figures were crumbling. Now, the big boy in that series, what the hell was his name? Damn,
Roadblock.
no, not Roadblock, but same series though. The guy that kind of had like the Bam Bam Bigelow colors.
Oh, Jonah or something. That Bronson, he's like Bronson Reed now, I think, or something, but I
Okay.
forget what his other name is.
Yeah.
I know
So,
who you mean.
all right, cool. Yeah, I forgot his name, but I think Jonah's the right one.
Yeah, it sounds, I can't remember. Yeah, it's something like that.
But that Jonah, to me, I probably put that Jonah figure among the top 15, top 20 best figures. Not just best retro figure, but best because that was very well made. I mean, the head sculpt was still off. Don't get me wrong, but look at Grapples and Gimmicks' first release of Mabel, and they made that figure multiple times.
Yeah.
I always said that he kind of looked like Play-Doh or something. It was just very weird looking. But I still say that Mabel figure, that very first one from G&G, is probably like my number 3 favorite wrestling figure ever. Number 3, number 4, somewhere around there.
Yeah. No, I actually love that figure. I love the Men on a Mission figures. I actually bypassed the zombie ones. Did you see those? The zombie Men on a Mission?
They're identical to Grapples and Gimmicks, and because I refuse to buy from Zombie Sailors anymore. But here's the thing: I might get the freaking Legion of Doom figures from them because not because I want to support Zombie Sailors because I think we're past that, but because Legion of Doom are always selling for an astronomical amount of money. And you know that there's going to be scalpers out there that are going to buy Legion of Doom, like 6 of them, and they're going to start listing them on eBay for like $200 a pop.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you know, Zombie Sailor figure is worth that money, but if you want it, if you want those figures, if you want a part of your collection, especially for completionists, yeah, they miss out on it. They're going to have to pay that $125 to $175 because you know they're probably going to accept a best offer. But
Yeah.
you list it for $200 and you take $75 off, that buyer's thinking, oh my God, he's got a steal of a price. Nope, you just paid probably 3 times what the value of it is.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I saw that. Yeah, that Legion of Doom or Road Warriors. Those do look really good. You know, it's funny. It was just after like the Macho Man. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna get that. And then he put that up, and I'm like, oh man, because I was sort of thinking too, maybe I'm out on them too.
Yeah.
I've been trying to like figure it out, but I did see the Legion of Doom, and I have to admit they look pretty good. I have to say.
All right, I'm trying to go back to these messages here. Almost got angry. I saw that one. We need more Power Town interviews. You know, this part that I'm reading right here, where Magnum acted like such a baby. I might be interested in going back and watching that interview, just kind of see, what happened exactly.
I remember something about him. He was like, I'll buck up on you. And he was like challenging the customers like to a fight. It's like, dude, relax.
So Rugged says that Power Town came out 2 years ago, and let's see, favorite line going right now. Favorite line going right now. I don't know about you, but even though Hasbro is my favorite, when it comes to collecting, I like LJNs a lot more, right? So right now, I'm kind of feeling more Latuni more than anything else. The only issue with Latuni is that there's only a few select characters, and Ahmad's branching out to different, different lines. So it's not just LJN figures; it's also Hasbro figures. It's the 10-inch or 12-inch figures. Um, I mean, he had that Rock and Wrestling 5.5-inch cartoon figures, but even those have been changed to reflect the 8-inch LJN style. Uh, so maybe it's just too many from one particular line or one particular company. But even though, like I said, even though those are all from Latuni, I say that they're all their own individual line. This is the Everest line. This is the Wrestle Giants line. This is the WrestleMatic line. So I guess in that regard, it would have to probably come down to Grapples and Gimmicks, Latuni, and possibly Big Rubber Guys among the new companies, the new releases that are coming out. And I'm not always super thrilled with Big Rubber Guys, but they're LJN style, so I like them. Grapples and Gimmicks, I just feel like they come out with way too many figures at such a small amount of time that you really can't, save up or, hey, this month I'm going to shell out $200 for these figures and get 5 figures. And then next month, maybe spend, have that $200 for 5 figures. No, they basically come out with like 10,000 figures at one time, right? So it's really
Mhm.
hard to keep up with all of them.
Yeah, for sure. I think Revelers and Gimmicks, like I've always said, their figures are like they're top shelf. You know what I mean? But
Yep.
like when they did the price increase, it really like left me out because I'm like, I can't afford these. You know what I mean? And like you said, the quantity that they're putting out and everything, it's like cool, but at the same time, it's almost like overwhelming where it kind of turned me off to trying to like complete that line. You know what I mean? Because it's like to be like an arduous task, but it's like, what can I do? Like it's
Well,
a so the price range kind of cut me out. Raise, I mean.
and I think like because I don't think it's even so much the deal with it costs this much at the factory and we're gonna have to sell it for this amount of money in order to earn a good profit or return. I don't even think it's so much that. I think it more boils down to, hey, they know that these are going to adult collectors. The collectors are gonna buy it and we can list it at that price. Because
Yeah,
they could probably list them at $25 and make an absolute steal based on what each individual figure would cost to produce at the factory.
right.
So they don't have to charge $40. And like you said, when those diesel prices went up, and they were going to a good cause. I got that. Um, I can't fault him for that particular cause, going to his wife's funeral or whatever it was. But like you said, you're pricing it out of the range of a lot of people, and if I was more conscientious with my money nowadays, I would never have bought any of them. But I wanted 2 sets. They're diesel. I wanted all of them to open up, but at those prices, no, I'm keeping them carded because I'm more than anything, I'm a mint on card collector.
Right.
Uh, you also, what else was I gonna say? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I'm done speaking on that. uh, I don't know. So I guess for now, those would be like my top three. What about you? You have a preference for
um, I like all the companies in a way like they have their charm and they also have their issues. But I think like for me, I like KWK a lot, and I think like their prices are awesome. And I like FC Toys too. I like how they make them, and I like you were saying, like close to the Hasbro, which is when I'm like doing the show or whatever, it like mixes good with them. I don't mind if they don't exactly match, but it would be nice. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
for my collecting, those are the two I guess most happy with the customer service aspect too is pretty good over there. So
Well, in regard to the figure collection store versus Hastel Toys, uh, if you listen to fans of Grapplers and Gimmicks, it's like like what I just complained about, putting out way too many sets, in such a small period of time. You'll have those fans, those loyalists out there, and I too am a loyalist. Okay, that's why I buy all their figures. But
Right.
uh, the true loyalist, like, hey, this company could do no wrong, loyalist. It's like, oh well, all you fans are complaining or bitching that that not enough these companies are coming out with their figures in enough time. Let's say let's talk about Hassel Toys, for example, or maybe it took 12 months instead of 6 months for Big Rubber Guys to come out with something, etc. And now here you have a man, Mitch, getting all these figures out in such a small time, and you're still bitching, and I'm like, at the end of the day, same thing. They're way too expensive for the quantity that you're releasing. If you're coming out with one series a year, let's say 12 figures per year, even if you were saying, hey, 4 figures like every, let's say, 3 months, and
Right.
then you take a 3 month break, October through December, and you come back in January with the release of Series 2, that would be a lot more manageable, even at $40 a pop, right?
Right.
Uh, and the complaint was against the guys at the Wrestle Something Wrestler line. Oh, well, these guys are only coming out with the new series every 6 months, every 8 months, or a year, whatever. I think that's exactly what they should be doing.
Mm.
It's not, they're not. It's not a money grab. So they're not just mass producing the same figures over and over again.
Right.
And yes, they have a lot of variants. We
Right.
know this. I think every toy line is going to have a variant, and I
Yeah.
think sometimes that's fun. If I
Hmm.
create a Maniac Right Wrestling, I'm probably hoping to have some variants because if I pay this amount of money for this prototype or for this mold, how can I make the most profit from that mold?
Right. Right.
And sometimes a repaint.
Hmm.
A lot of the
Definitely.
characters that I'm coming up with, they're supposed to have alternate color schemes. It's not like it's supposed to be a one and done ideal, right? Like the soldier. That soldier is based on me, and I wore multiple uniforms when I was in those. This keeps doing that. So it looks like
Oh
this
man.
one takes you to about an hour and 50 minutes, hour and 51 minutes before it like restarts.
Oh, all
Now-
right.
So now countdown's gone for like an hour 50 and now it's counting up from like 15 seconds.
What?
So that's cool.
Oh man.
What was I talking about? Oh, Wrestle Something Wrestlers.
Yeah.
Am I frozen?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. You're on a dark screen.
Oh, damn. So I see my face on the left side here, but like the picture's frozen. But
Uh,
you can still hear me.
yeah, I can still hear you, but yeah, the picture is blacked out.
Hopefully that won't be an issue. And I'll come back on shortly. But I think getting one series out every 6 to 12 months is perfectly fine. You're not mass producing. You're not coming out with like 30 figures every couple months. You're coming out with maybe 4 to 6 figures, and two of those six are probably repaints.
Mhm.
So if you're not a completionist and you just want to get your figure that you like the best, like that Sky Tuhati, I think you had a white pants, I think you had an orange pants. So which one did you prefer? Type of deal. But
Right, right.
they're right in line with Grapples and Gimmicks, and they're not raising their prices. I don't think they've ever gone higher than $35 or $40 for the figures.
Yeah, yeah, they have, and plus, like, you can use, you can get the discount code, knock it down a little bit, and I think they have free shipping if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I think they all have free shipping, but maybe not Zombie Sailors. All
yeah,
right,
yeah, that's who
the
it was.
fact that my stupid phone is frozen still, I'm almost tempted to end live stream and restart it, but I don't want to do that. I want this to be one ongoing live stream. So I don't know. Maybe we could go for a little bit more. I definitely want to get through all of the messages, and hopefully the thing will pop back on. All right. So Mr. Rogers is asking, what am I drinking for the day? Well, it is what is this? 80 proof, I think. 80 proof of tequila. Damn it, tequila anejo. I don't know what that means, anejo, but it's the brown tequila, and I decided to just mix it with my Fanta today. Yeah, man. If I was drinking this tequila straight up, I'd be bouncing off the walls right now. So luckily, that's a little bit more manageable.
Sucks you're in the dark with this, man. Talk
uh,
about a blackout, right?
and it was working so. I mean, do I? I'm afraid of hitting any of these side buttons because I'm worried that it's going to end the stream.
Yeah.
And if the stream ends, do I come back online and redo another one, or do we just call it a night?
Actually, dude, my
Oh man, okay, I'm back, but I think I may have lost you. All right, so guys, well, we're kind of frozen. Hopefully, some of the guys are still able to see us. I think I was able to unfreeze myself. Yeah, I'm moving, but I lost my co-host. Don't worry, guys. He'll be back on. Did I watch TNA Bound for Glory? I don't watch modern day wrestling anymore. I really should get back into it. Maybe at possibly at some point. Underrated horror movie. Well, shoot. It depends on which era you're referring to because, like, I think Killer Clowns from Outer Space is probably one of like my all time favorite movies ever. And that's a what 1980s movie, 1980s. What was it? 88, 89, I think. That movie came out. So that's a movie I grew up watching. I mean, I absolutely love that. Um, I mean, it's a cheesy horror flick, so but it's also a fan favorite. It is a cult classic. I think People Under the Stairs. I know people have mentioned that as being one of their favorite horror movies ever. I kind of feel like it's more of an underrated, underappreciated type of horror movie. I mean, it's not your everyday basic slasher film, so I think that is why it's kind of underrated. Nowadays, I think of movies like Conjuring and The Nun, and those type of movies, Annabelle. I think those are like those creepy horror, ghostly movies, right? I think those are scary shit. I mean, I'm used to that stuff, but like even when they have like these little jump scares and stuff, like that'll get my heart racing, or I might even a little bit from time to time. All right, I think Dwayne just sent a message mentioning that his phone is dying out. So that will probably be it for Bum Shadows today. Hey, Dwayne, thanks so much for joining me this week, bud. This meant everything, man. So hopefully, Bum Shadows and I can continue the dual live streams on Monday. I mean, this was so much fun to have that co-host. Absolutely amazing. So special thanks to Bum Shadows for joining us for today's live stream, guys. And having Bone Breaking Action on Wednesdays. This is fun, guys. Anybody ever want to jump in and co-host an episode with me? Let me know. I will send you an invite. Hell, we could do live streams 7 days a week if I have enough people. All right, so you got here. Your favorite zombie sailor is having a non-mint sale today at their website. Jesus Christ. Mint or not, I think the only thing I would buy from Zombie Sailors right now, among the things that they've already released, is probably a Pink Trunks CM Punk. If it were selling for like $10 or $12, if they were to release that, it would probably be like a $30 to $35 release because it was a special order, I think. But I just want the pink CM Trunks because I have the original, so I want the variant too. But I mean, CM Punk from Zombie Sailors. I'm gonna make a video, guys. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a video recapping my favorite 10 figures, maybe favorite 15, and another video showing off my least favorite 10 or least favorite 15. I made these type of videos in the past, but I think that'd be a lot of fun because I think CM Punk from Zombie Sailors could be on that list among the worst action figures ever created. Horrible. sculpt looks decent face wise. The tattoos were fantastic, but he was such a small, thin. It was just horrible, guys. Not a good piece. But yeah, that's like the only way I'd watch that. Yeah, I thought he was in Illinois, most out. For whatever reason, I was thinking like 6 p.m., 6 p.m. Because I'm so used to like my live stream starting at 8 p.m. on Saturday, right? So when I saw that 6 p.m., I'm like, oh shoot, am I 2 hours ahead? Um, Meaning you'd have to be like maybe Colorado, Arizona, or something like that. But I'm like, no, no, no. He's right. It's 7 o'clock right now, so 6 local time by him. I just had to make sure. First time here. What do you guys collect? Hey, Rogers. Well, you see this room right here. I mean, this isn't even my main display room. This is just a spare bedroom that I decided to fill up with my overflow. So behind me, I got all the Nekatuni terrors, horror masks, stuff like that. So I guess you could consider this to be like the horror section. On that side, you've got the 5.5 inch Remco style Funko figures, all the DC Primal Age figures, Mortal Kombat, the horror figures. Further down, you got Masked Rider figures and VR Troopers. So that was the big thing about this room is kind of turning this room into like a 90s Fox Kids superhero room. So we got Beetleborgs, Mystic Knights of Tir Nanog, Power Rangers, Masked Rider, VR Troopers, right? So this whole section is Power Rangers on this way. And Ninja Turtles against that back wall. Downstairs, one of the spare living rooms, I turned that into like an all Ninja Turtles wall with a few real Ghostbusters. And of course, in the basement, everything wrestling. If there was a wrestling line that created an action figure, I'd probably have it. Maybe not the entire collections, but pretty substantial. I am really proud of what I've acquired. Damn, I didn't even talk about these Stretch Armstrong figures. These four that are boxed up and these two over here that are carded. I keep telling myself I'm going to do a video on these, but I never do. Mm. Matt has everything ever made, pretty much. It definitely feels like that, man. Orndorff, his face is off. So was his LJN. I mean, the LJN, like I said, the LJN Orndorff was like in like a top 60 best. I mean, I don't know how. Here's the I don't know how to count the LJNs because there are so many variants. Like, let's say there are 70 figures. You have Jimmy Hart in Series 3. So Jimmy Hart is included among those 70 figures. But you have Jimmy Hart with no hearts on the megaphone, with hearts all on the sides, and then the third one with the hearts all on the sides and in the middle. So do you count that as 70, 71, 72, or is it just 70? What about SD Jones? Do you count him as one of 70, or do you count him as two of 70? Or is that 70 and 71? The three Kirchners, do you count those three times? Do you only count them one time? That's why it's so hard for me to say like how many LJN figures there are. Normally, I think I count like 72, but that could be like up to 80 because of all the variants. So LJN line still very confusing. Tito Santana, Series 3 purple versus Strike Force Series 5. Same figure, different paint scheme. Same thing with SD Jones. Same figure, different paint scheme. Do you count that twice or not? But at least the Tito's, at least you can sit back and say, hey, these are variants or these are released in different series, so that's different. But when I think of so let's say there's 72 or 70, let's say there's 75 LJNs. I probably think Paul Orndorff LJN is probably somewhere in like the 60 range. So I break LJN down into four tiers. Your number 1 through number 10 figure is your elite figure. Whether Basically boils down to play pose, serviceability of the action figure, for play, for being a kid. That's why you've got your SD Jones and your Kamala and your Hulk Hogan, and your Big Boss Man, Big John Studd, Greg Valentine, etc. That's why you got all those figures in the top 10. All perfect figures. And then I say 11 to 25 are your top rated figures. 26 to 50 is your mid tier figures. And 51 to, let's say, 75 is your bottom tier figures. And that would make Orndorff a bottom tier figure. So I don't really have that much of an issue with this face sculpt, but the play pose, not the worst in the lineup, but too big, and play pose was not that great. He, with nothing else other than trunks and boots, very plain, simple figure. So yeah, I would say Paul Orndorff, Aljan, definitely one of the worst from the lineup. Orndorff looks like a Simpsons a little. That's exactly what happened with grapplers and gimmicks. And I've always said I was probably one of the oddballs because I felt like I was the only one that liked the Simpsons character of Smoke Train from Grapples and Gimmicks. And if that's literally what they were going for, kind of doing like a mashup of wrestling meets Simpsons, that would have been so much fun. That would have made a whole lot of sense, and that figure would have been spectacular. But because no, he was supposed to be Charles Wright, Smoke Train, right? And you're making this a cartoony figure when it's not a cartoony line. So that's probably why it failed so hard for grapples and gimmicks. But it was good color, good a good accessory. I mean, it had one of those arm extension, right? Good fighting pose. A little small, a little thinner, but overall, I mean, I liked it. And when I look at this Paul Orndorff, I don't know. I wouldn't. Is he Simpson esque? I think if his face was lighter, maybe he could be. But I mean, he's got a nice tan to him and everything. So I think this is. I like the head sculpt. I'm okay with it. Some folks may not like it, but I think it's a decent piece. I want to say they made Owen and Jarrett same head or something. You know what? Damn. Probably. Like we were talking earlier with Goldberg and Steve Austin, it's probably possible they used the exact same figure and probably didn't even make no changes to it. Just slapped it on a different card. And I could see Owen Hart. Yeah, why not? Both long hair blondes, possible. Or they take like a mankind with a white t-shirt and black tie. Maybe that's released in like series 3. Then they come back in like series 7, release that exact same figure, except they instead of a black tie, they give him a red tie and up brand new mankind. So how many times did they do that with The Undertaker and Mankind and Steve Austin and Triple H? Just keep re-releasing the exact same figure over and over again. Maybe a slight change in the color scheme to make it different, but a lot of time that didn't happen. Or if they came out with 2 packs or something, same piece. Whether you get the individual 2 pack or the individual or the 2 pack. So being a fan and trying to collect those back in the 90s, especially being a kid, and not really having an option of whether or not you can pick them up. If you were an adult and a collector, I'm pretty sure that still would have been annoying. So BCAs, I mean, I probably could if I really wanted to go for at least a loose collection because I don't have the space for the carded anymore. But I just don't have interest in them. They don't stand well. I have to put those dowel stands I use for my LJNs. I use those for majority of the BCAs because you can't display them otherwise. So it's nice to have the quantity that I have. I mean, it gives me more than enough to talk about if I ever want to do a review or something like that, right? But I just don't have this. I didn't grow up with them. I didn't play with them as a kid. I didn't even know about them until adulthood as a collector. So they really don't have any nostalgic or sentimental value to me, other than just wanting to have them for the collection, just because. Beast from the East. Talking about Bam Bam. Royal Rumble in the Sega Mega Drive was the first decent wrestling game. Yeah. Well, I say from Sega Genesis, for example, Royal Rumble and Raw, they were basically the exact same video game. I think a lot of the characters were repeated characters, but you also had the same thing where you could fight in tournaments, you could fight in Royal Rumbles. So you didn't have to have the Rumble. You could have the Raw video game. You still had the Royal Rumble option, right? So I love that. Later on, Acclaim came out with this wrestling meets Mortal Kombat with WrestleMania the arcade or WrestleMania the arcade game. And you go to Pizza Hut and they have that actual stand up arcade game, right? Or maybe they had it at actual arcades where you could play it. Later on, you got that same video game on Sega Genesis, and that was so much fun. Okay, as a kid, loved the living hell out of that. Plus, you played so much, you know the different, you push enough buttons, you learn over time as you play, right? And you learn the different finishers and different moves. Like Doink comes out with like this big hand that kind of slaps or shocks the opponent or whatever, and things like that. Or he crushes you with a sledgehammer. But I was playing that, few months back when I was kind of doing like these walkthroughs, as I was playing every single video game that came out in the 80s and the early 90s, only for Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Once you start getting into PlayStation, say Xbox, Nintendo 360, stuff like that, I don't have any of those. I don't have the systems for like Nintendo 360, so no point in buying the video game, right? Other than just say, hey, here's the cartridge, whatever. But I played that Sega arcade game, a few months back, and I'm like, this isn't very good. I mean, it wasn't horrible, it was playable, but it's not something I see myself going back every year and playing it maybe 10, 20 times over the course of a year. Maybe a year, every couple years, maybe I'll plug it in for 20 minutes or so here or there, but once or twice a year, once or twice every couple years, I got it more for the nostalgia, just to have it and play it and relive those memories. But it wasn't like a everyday type of deal. I don't play video games like that though. I don't play video games, so it's not unheard of to hear that I'm not going to play this game very often. Da, da, da. Sega does what Nintendo don't. At one point, I was going to say that Sega Genesis had the greatest system out there, but every time a new system comes out, the new system's better, right? Nintendo was absolutely amazing, better than Atari. Then Super Nintendo comes out. Super Nintendo kicks the hell out of Nintendo. Sega Genesis came out. Donkey Kong, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. Uh, what else was other than Donkey Kong? What was the other one that came with the system? Oh, how about this? Zelda's Link to the Past, one of the greatest video games ever made. So you see why that video game for Super Nintendo, for example, was better than a Nintendo. Comic Zone on Sega Genesis. You play games like that, right? You can see that feel of those type of games. Why those were better than Super Nintendo. Then PlayStation. Oh my God, when like PlayStation MLB 98 came out, I think we got MLB 99, we had MLB 2000. The graphics on those games were like otherworldly, right? I remember being on staff duty, battalion staff duty one day, and this was probably around 2007, 2008 ish. I don't know, somewhere around that time frame. And I was playing I think I was playing MLB 2009. Oh, no, I'm sorry, MLB 99 or MLB 2003, MLB 2004. One of those games. I don't know. Uh, I remember the sergeant on duty. He was like, telling me how horrible those graphics were because this is like 2007, 2008. And I'm playing a baseball game from original PlayStation from 1999. So I'm looking at thinking like these graphics, even by those day standards, were incredible. But it just goes to show you when you got PlayStation 2, they're going to keep getting better, allegedly. I don't play anything past PlayStation. My wife, when she was my girlfriend back in high school, bought me MLB 2005 for PS2, and I could not play that game to save my life. You'd have Greg Maddux on the mound for the Cubs. He'd pitch 7 innings, but give up like 26 runs because I couldn't figure out how to pitch that damn thing. Hitting wise, you score 22 runs in the game, but you lose by a score of 56-22. So I'm like, this is so unrealistic, and I don't like it. I bought an Xbox back in the day because I wanted to play Buffy the Vampire Slayer that I bought when I was on leave while in AIT. I'm sorry, not on leave. I was signed out for the weekend, and friends and I went to the Petersburg Mall in Virginia, and I found Buffy the Vampire Slayer Chaos Bleeds for Xbox. Never owned Xbox, never played any games on it. Bought the game because it was a Buffy game, but hey, it forced me to go out and buy an Xbox when I got home. My wife years later bought an Xbox 360. She's bought a PS3, PS4. I think we have a PS5. I don't think we've ever played a damn one of those things. Neither one of us are gamers. I have no idea why those were ever bought, but I mean to have in case you need it. I don't know. I mean, a lot of time I was on deployment and I could afford, the $200, $300, whatever it was for a new gaming system, but I don't really think any of those are necessary. They're not anything that really piqued my interest, right? And look at me now, 40 years old, and I'm most of the video games I played in the last, let's say 2025 have been Nintendo. Not Super Nintendo, not Sega Genesis, just plain Nintendo. I'm realizing how horrible a lot of these video games are, but it's still nice to have go back and play them nonetheless. Snuka, worst Hasbro, Rude, worst LJN. I kept saying Rick Rude was probably the worst action figure, period, because of that stupid fused arms to the side. But I've since replaced it with the Macho Man from original San Francisco, which is basically the same figure and smaller, right? I say that Jimmy Snuka is worse than Rick Rude and LJN because at least with Rick Rude, I like the fact that he's got that nice 1980s pants design, right? Color scheme. So that I like that look. It shouldn't play a role, but it does. I'm pretty sure because it's value, that probably impedes my opinion on it a little bit. Jimmy Snuka, he's just a really horrible play pose of Iron Sheik, and Iron Sheik is not a good figure at all. I used to say Iron Sheik was probably one of my top 10 least favorite LJNs. After my last, my favorite LJN tournament, I don't know if I feel that way anymore. Like that figure, the original made it multiple rounds in that tournament, and normally he's a first round elimination. But this time around with the third tournament, I did a blind drawing with each matchup, so it allowed that figure to go a whole lot further. But Jimmy Snuka with that stupid, super thin arms, super in close, you couldn't do anything with that. So that's why I say LJNY Snuka's probably the worst. Hasbro, yeah, I still say Jimmy Snuka Hasbro is a top 10 worst. I still love all the figures, nonetheless, regardless of how I feel about them, play pose or otherwise, or design. But being a fan of those lines, yes, I love all the figures, but I could still have a favorite. I could still have a least favorite from the setup. All right, well, action figure would work well. Hmm. So there's Chris, there's this image I pulled off the internet several months ago, and it had like this beautiful like American color back scheme uh background, right? And there was like this pirate, and he kind of looked like Johnny Depp. But again, the pirate colors, just like this nice American color scheme. I think it was a beautiful picture, and I'm like, what? I want to have that as my third figure because when we were supposed to have the 80s Revolution versus Waddy's Channel grudge match, I wanted a right figure that kind of match up against the new 80s Revolution, figure, right? The soldier, it wasn't meshing well with that particular grudge match. I thought the devil would have been a perfect example because it was something different. But then when Sin came out with all these individual cards and kind of put a halt to the idea of a two pack. Again, from the very beginning, we were discussing two packs, two packs. Why a card was only created for one, maybe it wasn't possible, but I really wish you would have told me, hey, this ain't possible to get them two figures on one card. And Cubby, how long have you been underneath the bed? My little Cubby baby just popped her head out of nowhere. I'm like, that's a big ass rat. Now she's staring me down. Come here, Cubby. Come here, Cubby. And one and two. Ugh. Knocking over my horror figures. That's cool. Uh, what you doing? Were you hiding underneath the bed? You afraid of the kittens? Is that what it is? Yeah, let's see. But when it came to that pirate figure, like he had an awesome look already, right? And you want to sit down? And you want to jump? You jumping? Don't hurt yourself, poor Cubby. Um, so I thought the foul mouthed drunkard, and I looked at that pirate figure, and I'm like, yes, everything and then some. Yes, this is a perfect look for that grudge match. You got Jason Up, versus the foul mouthed drunkard, and that was the look that was going to do it. But I don't want to make a third figure myself. That's stupid. I mean, you can't come up with like six characters and have three of them be you. Everyone is hating on Mitch because he's coming out with a Hashtag Toys figure of himself. I'm like, why? I mean, I know why. It's his company. He wants to make a figure of himself. Great. It would be one thing if they just made a specialty figure of himself, but the fact that you're advertising and marketing it like who's yeah, they support you by buying your action figures. They don't want to support you by buying something that really holds no value whatsoever. So I kind of see both spectrums, right? I see why he wants to figure himself because we all want to figure of ourselves. And I had no intention on marketing this or anything, right? It wasn't until I got the figure in the first one and talked about it. I'm like, I was so excited, and people reached out to like, hey, we want that too. Like, we'll buy a figure from you. Like, okay, so if there's legitimate interest, let me look into this further. Let me try and create some different figures. Reached out to some friends who are willing to work with me, collaborate with me on the action figures, and now I think we potentially could have one of the best lineup of wrestling figures, especially LGN figures out there. So, but I won't release them, or I won't even get to the stage of producing them until they actually meet my specifications. You see an XOX Customs, you see their rubber, the sort of cartoony look. I don't want that. I want them to be as LJN esque as possible. Latuni, very close, the closest to creating LJNs. Still not quite there. So I have a certain look in mind, a certain feel in mind, and if I can't get that exact look, I'm not shelling out tens of thousands for an inferior product. I can't do that to my buyers because if they feel like this sucks, I lose their business, right? So it's got to be done the right way. That's the only way I'm going to get this stuff out there. So I really thank obviously the viewers for pushing me into creating this because I mean without that support I'd probably be like I'm good with just this prototype or whatever. But I want something real. Ever since I got into collecting, I want something more that's mine. And was wrestling creating my own action figure line, was that something that was on the docket of a dream 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago? No. But once I went all in on this, definitely something that's crazy important to me. So I kind of feel like right now I want wrestling with Bum Shadows. I think he's got that look that could go with that pirate. So then when you mentioned the eye patch, I'm like, hell yeah. He's I've got a design in mind, but Chris, we can look at that purple glove, sort of like a Undertaker type look or something. Um, there's ideas. There's plenty of ideas that I have with each individual figure, each individual character. But if Dwayne and I get together and he says, "Yeah, man, I want you to create my figure," I'm probably gonna leave it open to him because with like Jason, with BBA, because it was their figures, I want it to be their design. What was their dream figure? But even my dream figure didn't come out the way I wanted. So, and I had two of them. So that's why we're kind of bouncing around, right? We're trying to work with other avenues, other creators to see what they could come up with. See if any of these guys were able to meet my vision. Is Sandy from Denny's hot? Might be cool. I kind of made that up, but shoot, I'm pretty sure there's a Sandy who works at Denny's somewhere. All right. And the mask comes off the TRT Juvenated. Or Juventud Echo. Someone did something. Definitely not. You say it said, "Do you like fan home?" Not sure what that is. What's going on? Who stole my line? All right, Echo is gone at least. Mm, Ain't that some bullshit, guys, man? Just like what Chris said, man. It's like you have one issue where one guy bounces off the damn thing, and then the other guy is kicked off, and it's just what is it called? You're playing phone tag, sort of insane. I just and my freaking cat over there. Look at her. Hey, Cubby. That's the little Cubby baby. He's giving me the look. Why are you laying there? Why aren't you laying on the bed? Where did I leave off, guys? Cut the webcam more. She cut the time. No, I don't. Whatever it is, like I said, this whenever you kind of do a live stream from your cell phone, like I don't know what it is, man. Like the whole setup sometimes is so funky. Like it changes your portrait and landscape views, and the stuff freezes up all the time. And even the time, like it hits like an hour 45, hour 50 minutes, and it goes back to zero again. And freezing the other person out on screen. At least we're not completely losing. At least when it freezes, it comes back. Unlike my computer, when I lose connection on the computer, that's it. I stay frozen. It doesn't come back at all. So I don't mind doing live streams on the cell phone for that particular reason. But I know that Dwayne had to go. We were right at 2 hours or above 2 hours, and that's a long time to be on a live stream with someone. So went off to eat a can of beefaroni. Damn, now I want some damn beefaroni. Can of beefaroni and zebra cake dessert. Who was it? Was I the guy that brought up the damn zebra cakes, or did somebody else bring up zebra cakes? Because if I'm the one who brought it up, I don't think I'm ever gonna let that live that one down. Sega hardware was usually better, but Nintendo games were usually funner. Mm, because in childhood, that simplicity of those video games made it so much fun. Like it looked like the graphics were absolutely phenomenal. But when you get older and you see how technology has evolved, like a lot of NES games I couldn't stomach. I was watching this video. a few weeks ago where a fan was making a video of the NES Jaws video game. And he talked about how he and his father used to love Jaws and they used to play Jaws every day. And when his father finally figured out how to beat the game, and he had to kind of travel around and get some kind of weapon or something to come back to beat the shark. And then finally, there it is. You beat Jaws, and the shark just sinks to the bottom, and that was basically the end of your video game. Like, I think I had Jaws at some point, when we were kids, like around age 6, 7, whatever. Um, and who knows how much play we got out of that game. Maybe we play it for 10, 20 minutes, like you would die quick, or it was just I don't know. I couldn't remember because it just didn't have that sort of impact on me. But that's what I'm talking about. Seeing that nostalgia, those memories, that history. I love hearing those type of stories, and it inspires you to do certain things. I might want to pick up Jaws for NES and want to play it. And maybe I'll have a better appreciation, knowing that hey, this is the graphics and this is kind of what to expect. But at the same time, when I get NES games now, I don't want to just get plain. I don't want just the disc. I want it to be complete booklet and in case. At the very least, the case. If it comes with booklet, better. So, but again, I mean, paying $50, $125, $200 for an NES video game, you might only play one time and then just kind of discard because it's just gonna sit on the shelf. I feel like a lot of the games I bought, especially the ones I paid up for because I got them complete. I mean, there's games that I bought like RoboCop. I bought expensive, complete. Haven't played it. Been wanting to play it. Um, what was that damn with Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer, Top Gun. I bought a Top Gun, a little bit more expensive and complete. Haven't played that yet, and I've been talking about. I was talking about that weeks and weeks ago about wanting to do a walkthrough video game play on that one, and they just haven't happened. I just haven't had the interest in them, I guess. But I guess when it comes to video games, I mean, maybe I'll say PlayStation original because I don't play anything above PlayStation 1. Xbox was okay, but all I had for Xbox was Buffy and, I think Dark Angel. The Fox series Dark Angel with Jessica Alba. I got that video game, I played it once, never played it again. I mean, it wasn't bad, I just it wasn't no Buffy, so what do you think about Professor threatening to unalive Camera Lay today? I watched the stream, I didn't watch all of it, and I didn't see that part, but that's kinda messed up, man. Actually, not kinda, that's messed up. I don't know if he was mad or whatnot, what happened, what the reason, but if that's his girlfriend, man, or his wife or whatever, and, you're saying those things to the person you love, that's nah, man. I will threaten to beat my wife's butt sometimes, but there is a difference between the loving way that I say it, like, or in anger, screaming at her, where I come at her all aggressive, the fist up, right? There's a difference. Like, because my wife and I, we've been together since we were in high school, okay? We have known each other since we were teenagers, and the way that we talk to each other, the way that we hang out with one another, it's like the way you would talk to each other when you were kids. Yeah, a lot of time it's a lot adult oriented, but a lot of time it's also a lot of babying too, right? Like my wife will look at me like, "Oh, you're such an asshole. I'm going to beat your ass," or something like that, right? You don't think, "Oh my god, I got to call the cops. My wife's going to beat me." No, it's just the way that we communicate. Not childish. It's just like I said, we have that history. There's a history and there's a comfort level when you've been with someone for so long. And that's why I always say when you're married to someone and you're like in your 60s, 70s, and you've been married to someone for 40, 50 years and they die, Why is it that the husband dies holding his wife's hand 6 minutes later? Why is it when a husband dies at 75, his 75-year-old wife dies, 6 months after that or something, right? You spend so much time living with so much, they've been your whole world for so long, and at that point, you lost your reason for going on, sort of deal, right? Uh, so if I sit back and I threaten to beat my wife's ass as an example, like there's a difference between wanting to harm somebody and saying it in a way that's not taken seriously, that's still playful and loving, and still allows her to retort with a recap of how she did whoop my ass. My wife would never be afraid of me, man. I think if she and I ever got into a fist fight, I'd have to get me a damn frying pan for protection. My wife would whoop my ass bad. But that's my baby right there, okay? I would never put my hands on my baby. I look at my wife and sometimes I just like staring at her. Like we'll be sitting there watching TV, and I'm like, dude, you just look so innocent and precious. She's just so adorable. And then I don't think she really appreciates that. So sometimes I'll be staring at her and she'll look at me like, "What the hell you want? Stop looking at me. You're creepy as f." I'm like, I'm over here trying to be loving, and you're calling me creepy, dude. You're an asshole, okay? But no, man, that's my baby though. Like I said, we have a pretty solid, enjoyable, humorous relationship. So that's the Jaws game. I watched that channel. My retro life, I think. Ah, I don't know. I think that's the same guy that did the Ninja Turtles. Like he had a video where he kind of reflected on all these Ninja Turtles and like the bus and stuff that he got when he was like 8 years old. And I think he still had pictures or video of that back in the day. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the same guy. So I've seen some videos from him in the past, but I don't remember if that's Retro Life. But it sounds familiar, so very well possibly. My ex used to call me busted boyfriend action. I don't want to laugh, but that's good. That is good. Busted action. Wow. At least she didn't call you broke back action. uh, hey, dude. Sorry, I should set up near an outlet in. Hey, Dwayne. No, you're good, buddy. Shoot. You mentioned you were good after 2 hours. I mean, that's more than enough time that I could ever ask anyone to stay on one single live stream. So if we have a 5 hour live stream together, great. If we have a live stream that lasts 45 minutes, that's good too. It's just nice to have the co-host. So, having Dwayne here on Monday, having BB on Wednesdays, man, guys, that's you're making my stream so much more enjoyable. So I love having you guys on. And like I said, any viewers that would like to co-host an episode, live stream with me, hey, let me know. We could set up a time well, you guys know the time and dates, right? But if I get more and more people, that means more and more live streams, or I can invite more collaborators on that live stream. So I might want to do that one day. Could just kind of send out an invite collaboration with like 2 or 3 people just to see how many of us can actually fit on the screen at one time. But that has to be a day where there's not much to talk about, just in case anything goes wrong with the live stream. So if it's only like a 30-minute stream, it's not a big deal. I think Mondays are usually that day, right? Mondays are the day of the week that probably has the most flexibility. All right, I think I'm probably gonna be on for maybe 3 hours. So if that's the case, I'll take me another 15 minutes, 13 minutes, whatever. Um, Question is, do I finish off the tequila bottle? If I do, I'm all out of pop and all out of chasers, so I don't know. But I've been drinking a lot of tequila, and I'm not as bad off as I thought I'd be. Ah, giggity. Hubba hubba. Maybe we should do a threesome. Giggity, giggity, giggity. Oh yeah, I had way too much tequila in that now. I only had about that much pop left, and oh god, it's 80 proof, so I really need to have that chaser or something. Ooh. Hubba hubba. All right, so this was supposed to be a Hasbro style video live stream in retrospect, right? And I kind of want to go back a little bit because we've talked about title run toys. Is this worth the value? I think piece by piece, maybe. I think that would be of interest for a lot of retro collectors, but for someone like me, do I want to go all in on this? I feel like I want to. I feel like I should. I don't want to get too far behind. Let's say they come out with series 2, series 3, and let's say they've got 5 figures released each series. I've only had 2 figures, and now I got to get 15, right? Or I have 2 out of 15. Especially if I got to buy it from a secondary market, I don't want to pay 50, 60, $70 for these figures, right? So I don't know if I want to get into another line and have another bill to the expenses. Rush Collectibles, we talked a good amount about them. One of the highlights, obviously, is Spellbinder from Series 2. A lot of us are still waiting on that. And we're still waiting on the NES Pro Wrestling 3-pack. Now, with that one, here's the thing. I actually think that Sal did that one probably the best. Well, what the hell am I talking about? When you look at his earlier figures, Jonah was good, but I mean, still different than you would normally find. But I like his bulkiness, right? And he was made different. But like the French Angel it was just a very weird figure, weird paint scheme, weird skin tone. Uh, Larry Zbyszko was falling apart. So guys like that. I don't know what the heck was up with the roadblock. Like again, this the skin and kind of coming apart at the waist. The new figures are improved in series 2, but they don't mesh Hasbro, and that we are Hasbro fans, right? So we want that aspect. Sal kept his stuff from the same factory as Mitch. We've talked about G&G, right? Grapples and Gimmicks, and we've seen their first couple figures because they went through the same factory, same quality. He moved to a different factory. They got better, got it. Some of them are home runs, or a lot of them are home runs, but there are some misses here and there. Premier Wrestling is another one of those retro lines, right? Here's the thing. I have 5 figures. I bought another set of 5 figures that I opened up to sit in front of the carded figures. What are they of? Josh Chernoff. The entire line that I've seen is nothing but Josh Chernoff. And that, I could be wrong, but that might be a Josh Chernoff wrestling line. Way back when, I actually bought 3 sets, so I had like a third set that I was trying to sell on eBay forever, and that they don't even get a single view. And I've had them up for like 2 years or a year plus. So it just shows you that there's absolutely no interest in those figures whatsoever. And I thought by listing the entire bundle, there'd be a lot of people interested in getting the complete set. Nothing. So Premier Wrestling was a complete waste of an investment. Mattel Retros, they still have the best value, the most bang for your buck, so to speak. But again, resale wise, they're not valuable. They're not worth anything. You can come back a year later and find retro Wave Series 3, Series 2, Series 1 from Mattel Creations, and you can get them for probably anywhere between $8 to $15 on auction. If you have something listed for $20, people are probably going to come at you with an offer of like 10 because they just don't value it as much. Even though I think that the Mattel retros are probably the better line for pickup. We talked Wrestle Something Wrestlers, and with the figure collection store, if it's not G&G, it's them. They've got the most Hasbro style And like I said, their figures hover around $35 to $40. Not all of their figures are carded. They've got a bunch that come loose, right? So for $10 cheaper, you can get that second set. What I don't like about is I know a lot of people love this, and I love this too. This is familiarity. Galoob, Hasbro, the way that the fitted bubble is on the card. All these companies, you gotta sit there, you gotta damage the bubble or damage the card to get the figure out. The one good thing I give to Mattel Retros, what I give to Rush Collectibles, is that easy slide up card back. Your figure can always be MOC. It doesn't you don't have to just damage the package to get your figure out. So that's the downside for these companies that don't have that. But I'm also torn, right? Do we love it? Do we hate it? It's right in the middle, and I really can't pick a side of which one I'd rather have. Right now, I'd probably go with the easier move because you only have to buy one set. You're not having to waste your money on a second one that they have to open, right? Um, let's see, Mattel Retros, Grapples and Gimmicks, Zombie Sailors. Retro wise, probably has the worst bang for your buck, maybe. Grapples and Gimmicks or Zombie Sailors. Resale wise, you're not getting money. You're not getting value. Earlier in this live stream, I talked about the MOC Grapplers and Gimmicks Red Trunks variant of Mark Merrill. Whenever you get those messages, you order your pre-order, but you buy two of them, and then like a month later, a few weeks later, you get a message, an email, get your figure before they run out. A couple months later, get your figure before they run out. And you completely forget that you ordered these. So you end up with like six of them. And these companies don't take back, don't refund you. They don't accept returns. So you're screwed. Today, after 7 days, my auction ended. I made $5.50 on a carded Mark Merrill. No issues with the bubble, no issues with the card. Perfect, crisp card, $5.50. You are not going to earn money from Zombie Sailors or Grapples and Gimmicks. I keep saying it. I will keep instilling that into buyers, into anyone who wants to watch. The only people that are interested in buying them are the ones that do pre-orders. If they didn't pre-order the item, it means that they don't want the figure. Don't be like me thinking, hey, because I spent $100+ on this figure back in the day, that other people are going to do that. They're not. I just didn't know the value of these figures back when I started collecting, like Zombie Sailors, for example. Later on, when I got into Grapples and Gimmicks, I started buying the Smoke Train, the Simpsons look-like figure. Those were going for like 125, $150. I don't know if I paid that, or did I pay $100? Did I pay $76? I don't know. I look at them as $40 figures, right? Because that's what these companies charge. So when they start selling for $50 plus, I feel like it's an overspend. Cella Toys obviously is fantastic, and Cella Toys is now Epic Toys. Epic Toys is probably right up there. They're probably one of the three top retro style figures. Grapples and Gimmicks, Wrestle Something Wrestlers, and Epic Toys. They're coming out with some great characters, some flawless designs, accessories, play poses. I mean, just brilliant. And they're not crazy expensive either. Get them from J&J Collectibles, either through eBay or through his actual website. That way, you're not having to go through Epic Toys UK to buy your figures if you're here in North America. What else is there? Now, obviously, KW. So when Matt Cardona was talking about on his channel, he was talking about he thinks Zombie Sailors doesn't fall in line with Mattel with retros. He puts them on a higher pedestal than them. I'm like, dude, you're insane. I like you, but you just lost massive points with me by making that bold statement. But I kind of feel the same way about KWK Kayfabe Heroes. Yes, I think they're Hasbro-esque, very similar size and whatnot, but they're not quite Hasbro. These other lines, they're very close to Hasbro. there's sheer difference with your figures from the figures. They're heavier, they're bulkier, they're valuable. Even the accessories. The accessories are alone. Why were you paying $200 for a Mantar MOC? Because it's worth it. Why were you paying $200 for this Comic Kid? Because it was worth it. Later on, you got the re-release of Comic Kid, and they're down at $15. Now they're charging Mattel retro prices. Hello, KWK Fave Heroes. There's a reason why they're on my list among absolute favorites. If they had more figures, more characters that I had as part of my collection, I think they could be up there at like number 5 among my favorite toy lines. But I say like, hey, if this toy line has 100 figures that I have, and this toy line has 10 figures that I have, I'm probably going to give it to the one that I have more quantity of because I can enjoy it more and have more reference. But that is another major elite factory, major league company. Latuni, you guys already know. Yes, they're more famous for their LJNs. Don't sleep on their Hasbro style figures with the Russomatics. Right now, they got 3 versions of Macho Man. Pick and choose if you want, or get all 3. $35. So they're a little bit less than what your average retro company is going to charge. They're coming with 3 new variants of Andre, so that's going to be pretty awesome. And that line is going to expand over time. You may only get one character at a time, but over the next few years, I can see a nice, awesome setup to really give you an appreciation as to whether or not they could be among the greatest Hasbro style figures out there. And I like the Macho Man so far, so I say yes. It's going to happen. Um, Hasbro style figures. What am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something because there's like 10 different companies, dudes. So like, I mean, those are like the major ones. I mean, those are ones that actually have a good quantity of figures from each one. So I can speak most comment on those particular lines. Every line has something of value, and I think more than the overall look of the figures, I think customer service is going to play a role into which one ends up being the most successful. I think figure collection not only the best design, but I think they might give you one of the better communication. So that could be at the number 1 spot. Grapples and gimmicks. I have a really hard time in getting any kind of feedback from Mitch. And I'm hearing whenever I hear somebody talk about him, like, hey, I'm talking to this friend. Like, I reached out to him. I had this question, and he wanted to have an order number, even though he didn't order from him. He ordered from me because I bought duplicates for the friend and whatnot, or excuses like that, right? And I'm like, just why can't you answer the questions? But I mean, he's not bad. I wouldn't buy from him if it was a horrendous company. We know about Zombie Sailors toys. You can reach out to them all day until you're blue in the face. They will not respond to any of your inquiries, and their figures started off in Series 1, high quality, and that's what drove my love and passion for that line. And they've just been a shit show since. Figures are horrible. Designs are horrible. I mean, they break. You sit there, you twist the wrist, and they're wobbly. I'm like, garbage. Literally, hands have broken off in the packaging once I open the package. So they've lost everything from me as a collector and a fan. KWK, like I said, there's immense value in those figures. So, and Sean, he's excellent at responding to customers. Ahmad for Latuni is excellent to responding to customers, and they listen to customer feedback and they make necessary improvements. It's not, hey, this is my design. I don't care what you say. You want this figure, you're gonna buy what I design. And I'm like, dude, that's horrible. That's not a way to go about business, right? So when I listen to guys like Sean and Ahmad, I'm like, hell yeah, let's support these guys because these are guys that deserve it. And hopefully one day I kind of fall in that same boat with my buyers, and my figures will be talked about and as coveted. Let's see what we got here. French Angel was kind of cool until it actually came out. Well, he redid the French Angel, and I got like 2 or 3 copies of that guy. I got him in black pants. I think I got him in red pants, and I think it came with a I don't know, some kind of wraparound, neck wraparound, some kind of feather or something. Was it a towel? I think it was a feather. I think it was a feather. And there was also like this green ogre version as well. So I got 3 of those suckers. One of them, the one in black pants, I have a spare copy, so I have that one loose. That's what it sounds like when you knock on his body. You know, the fighting pose, the arms, the legs. I mean, he's basically a carbon copy of Jake Roberts from Series 1 Hasbro. But you look at the face, you look at the body, the skin tone, it looks nothing more than a custom that somebody made in their 3D printer or something from home or whatnot. Still one of the better figures. I mean, from Series 1, it was still one of the better figures because at least it was a good play pose and it was hard. It wasn't falling apart. But I'll continue to give, Sal obviously his shout outs when the product is bad. I'll talk about it too. Just like I do with any toy line. I try to be as fair and honest with all my reviews and assessments. One day if I ever have my toy line released, I don't care if they're Gloop size figures, Hasbro style figures, LJNs. One of the things I won't ever do is I won't sit back and criticize other companies because I think that's going to look bad on you as a seller and as a business person, right? Like I could look back at all these lines and say, hey, these lines were great. I collected them. They inspired me. Now, if I got this, yeah, this isn't as good. If I want to make comparisons, which I always do, I love comparisons. We could talk about my line. We could talk about Round Treasures. We could talk about Mattel. We could talk about LGN, etc. So sometimes you might do it better. Sometimes they might do it better. You guys will always know you'll get that honest feedback from me based on how my personal feelings, right? So French Angel, he was adequate. Just he was the last figure made from Series 1 because they couldn't quite get I guess they couldn't get the mold right or something. You and 2 other Fig Fad I really like weren't around when I was actually doing big. Hopefully I get back to it. I like to do matches with guys like you guys around. What do we think about the It TV show coming up this month on HBO? AL, welcome to Derry. I'm excited, man. I am. I love the opportunity for that movie to continue. Um, I don't know if like they're gonna go off of the first movie and the remake. They're basically going off the very similar storyline, right? Just taken from the book for the most part. So I don't know if they're gonna use basically the same characters or if it's gonna be like even a prequel to that. But Bum, what's up, buddy?
Came
Buddy.
back in the came back in the ninth. Yeah, I lost power there, but
Now you're
yeah, I wanted to make sure I got on here and said thanks for having me on, dude. I really appreciate it.
Nah, bud, you're good, man. Like I'm glad that that stupid link still works for you though. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, this is the third time, yeah. Crazy, man.
But yeah, I let the guys know, man, that you had to charge your phone and whatnot, so you were good. But hey, love having you on. So don't mind you rejoining us and whatnot. And hopefully, be able to answer some of these questions because maybe you have opinions about some of these topics. So I've gone over a lot of this already. I don't know how far
Yeah.
you've been watching, but
Um,
retro figures, like, which ones do you prefer? Which ones do you like the value, the designs, customer service? Like, what among all that is your preference? What brings you to the table and want to buy from this seller more than another, etc.
yeah, I'd say I'll start with grapplers and gimmicks. I love their figures and I love the quality. Like I had one message to Mitch there, and it was just sort of way back when he had the I don't know if you remember, he had like the loose figures. They were like imperfect, but they were on sale or whatever. Like he had loose ones up there.
Gotcha,
And
gotcha.
yeah, so I got a bunch of those, and I was like fine with them because I was doing the fig fed and saved me some money. So anyway, like Mark Merrow is coming out at that time or whatever.
Yeah,
So I reached out and I asked him, hey man, I got a little fig fed and sometimes the figures get banged up. Like, do you have any of Mark Merrow? And then he responded, I don't have any, but then he put quotes, banged up ones. And I don't know, something about that just made me like, and that was it. And I was like, I don't know, man. Like I was just asking. It seemed like I was bothering him, so I just
so was he like mad because you said banged up figures,
yeah,
or
I think he thought I was like insulting them when I meant like they might fall and get a scuff. So it was probably just a misunderstanding, but I was like, man, like I don't know. But I mean, he did get right back to me and everything. Like I said, the only thing that keeps me out of them is the price increase. Like Sans, like you said, the thing with the wife that's different. That's a really sad thing, and that's like for a cause. Like I'm not talking about the Nashes. That's different.
yeah,
I'm just talking about the Savage at 60, the Godfather exclusive at 60. It's a little much.
especially when you keep making not only that, but when you keep making the same figures over and over again. I think it was Quang, and
Yeah.
he had two variants, a black version and a red version,
Yep.
and I don't know if these are some kind of like Comic Con exclusive or some BS, but why were those being sold for $55 a piece
Right.
on both variants
Yeah.
when your average price is $40?
Yeah.
What was so special about those particular figures that you had to come up almost a third of the price? And
Yeah.
are they any different or any from any other releases? And they're not. At least I could say, well, Diesel was because he was getting money back, to for this fundraiser or whatnot,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that would have, it was being reinvested not into the business but into funeral costs or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can at least
Yeah.
make that argument. But
Right. Right.
some of this other stuff that sells for $50 because it's an exclusive, like I doubt it. I don't think anything that's classified from any of these companies as exclusive
Right.
is just wording. I think
Yeah. Yeah. I
if
think
I
so.
say so yeah, if I say, hey, this is Maniac Wrestling, this is a Waddy's channel exclusive, that just means, hey, this is me creating my own line. This is a line that I designed. This is exclusive to me or to my company. But
Right.
when they say exclusive, they're talking about, oh, you can only get it at this toy show or whatever,
Right.
and there's maybe 100 available, and I doubt it, because if
Right.
somebody
Right.
wants those figures, they are going to mass produce them.
Definitely. Yeah. No, I definitely agree, man. Like it's just this like limited like impulse like price hike, trying to get you to like, oh no, like worry about it and everything. And like I was all aboard with him and definitely at the 40, even if they were 45, but once he started pushing towards 50 for just regular releases, like the model and Damien Demento, and they both look great, don't get me
Yep,
wrong, but I think they were like 49 a piece up there, or even if you did the two deal, I think it was
yep.
like 47 or something. So I tried to make a stop at 45 because I said, I'm not going to give in to this like price raise and just accept it and, eat crap and move on. Like, you know what I mean? I'm kind of have to make a stand at some point. So that's where I'm
Yeah,
at with it.
he's going to take that Rick Martel. He's going to remake it. I think actually he's already remaking it. Aren't they coming out with a 2-pack of Strike Force?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Grapples and Gimmicks and I think Epic Toys are both coming out with the new Strike Force tag team set.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I don't like. Like I hear that Epic Toys is coming out with with a Killer Bees, and it's gonna be slightly different because maybe there's jackets or there's gonna be two sets of Strike Force, one with jackets, one with just a T-shirt or
Right.
something like that. And I'm like, stop it. I mean,
Yeah.
especially this early. If you were
Yeah.
coming out with a Strike Force in Series 2 with
Yeah.
jackets, and then you're coming back in like Series 11 with T-shirts,
Yeah. Right.
I mean, a little bit different, but you
Yeah.
keep coming out with these same figures so close in connection. It's like, and they're not even really variants in that case. They would be different sets. So
Yeah. Yeah, man. I
and
mean, it's yeah. Oh, did you see the three? He's coming out with a three-pack grapplers and gimmicks, the Godwins.
yeah, and the only reason I want that is because of Hillbilly Jim.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a key piece.
And I could be wrong, but isn't the Godwins, aren't those both the two sets that he released like a couple years ago? Or are they different sculpts? I don't remember.
Oh, I think he the first ones. I didn't mind the first ones he did actually, but they were not as good as these ones look. I think
Okay.
he made like an improvement. Although it looks like the hats are included, so you know what that means. It's not going to stay on his head.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, I like the Henry Godwin. Phineas, I mean, they're basically the exact same figure, and I thought they were really good, especially
Mm,
with the slot bucket and everything. So, I mean, I never had any issues with that.
yeah.
Technically, with the early going, I never had any issues with a lot of the things that people were complaining about. I never had any issue with the Simpsons smoke train figure. I didn't have
Mhm,
any issues with Ahmed Johnson because on card, I thought it was probably one of the greatest retros ever. It looks
mm,
spectacular.
right.
Not until you actually open it up and find out that it's sheer crap, but that's
Yeah.
another question, right? The Godwins, I thought they were awesome pieces as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Now,
like. But
some of the stuff like what was the guy that the Cardona guy? What was that? Matt's brother, father or something?
oh, Bob, yeah, Bob Cardona. Yeah. Yeah.
Bob Cardona.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, about that one. I'm iffy about that one, but if I'm iffy about that one, then I gotta be iffy about the super fan made by Wrestle Something Wrestlers.
Right.
And that figure, oh my god, that one reminded me of Steve Urkel. He looked just like Steve Urkel.
Yeah, it does kind of look like
I'm
that.
like,
Yeah, you're right.
Steve Urkel got his own action figure. How awesome is that?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, the Urkel wrestlers.
Hey, look
Yeah,
at
yeah, the Bob Cardona I like picked up for real cheap and like a lot on like eBay like a million years ago because I wanted it for a crowd guy. He does look
yeah.
good in like a fig fed crowd, so he fits in there pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, I think he was a fused leg, wasn't he?
What's up?
Was Bob Cardona? Was he a fused leg figure? I forget. I
He
have
has
him. I
the
just don't
he
remember.
has the double biflex.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, I have it carded and loose, but I just don't remember. I'm trying to picture it in my head. I know what
Yeah.
the figure looks like, but I just don't remember the pose and all that.
Yeah, he's
But
got a hat, like a connected hat, which actually is better off, I think. And then he had the double flex. And I think he's got one of his son's like shirts or match shirt or something with the logo.
cool. Oh, so we
Yeah.
got some messages down here. Um, is Art the Clown immortal? Damn, from Terrifier, is he? Like I think of him as like a spirit or something. Like he seems like supernatural powers, not your average what you would think with supernatural abilities, but like does he die? Like Michael Myers, you don't think of him as a supernatural being. You shoot him hell up, he doesn't go down. Okay, so yeah, that's got to be like a supernatural entity to me. I think Art the Clown falls kind of like in the same bubble as Michael Myers. Now, when you guys look at like Jason, Jason is most definitely a supernatural being. Okay, he died when he was a kid. He came back as a full grown adult monster, basically. So, 100% supernatural. Freddy Krueger is a supernatural entity, 100%. But how do you classify a Michael Myers or an Art the Clown? Oh, oh man, that's so bad. Oh, I put way too much tequila in there. I didn't have enough pop, and now I'm kind of like I'm really feeling it.
Oh man, it's hitting you.
How old is Bum? What kind of music does he like? I got Bob Cardona. I forgot I even had it. Um,
Well, dude, I'm 44, and music, I know it like sounds like what everybody says, but I do honestly like a little bit of everything. Like I like pretty much a little bit of everything. So I know that's a common answer, but that's actually legit. That's how I'll listen to something. It's just gonna sound good to me, kind of simple.
I mean, it depends on what stage you are in your life. Like I would in the '90s, I would say R&B, but
Right,
it's probably because I actually knew what was classified as R&B music. Like if you're listening like Tony Braxton, for example, you would consider it to be R&B, but I mean, I don't really think I ever fell into one specific category. Now, once I
right,
got into high school, yeah, I mean, I was big on like alternative music. So,
right.
Blink 182 was like the hit band for me in high school. Like I think a lot of us were obsessed with their music. But then you throw in like Linkin Park and Papa Roach, Sum 41, guys like that. In high school, that was stuff I was into. So I was all into alternative music. Once I got later in life, I'm all about like 80s rock and roll.
Hmm.
Namely, probably my favorite band. Um, oh shit, Bon Jovi. Almost forgot his name for a second. I'm like,
Oh
so,
man, very true.
so I think like I said, I mean, growing up. Here's the thing: how do you separate? Like, how do you define bands from groups? Because I always looked at a band as two or more people,
Yeah.
and that was it. That was like my only. That was the only requirement. You had two or more people in it, and you were considered a band. So, like I always said in my life, that Boys to Men were my favorite band. 2011, I was in Afghanistan with Mantech, and we're on the Special Forces compound, and we just got done our team meeting, and I was on the computer, and I forget what happened. Maybe it was after work or something. Maybe not earlier, but one of the guys that worked for Oshkosh, he was asking what I was doing, whatever, or what kind of music I was in, whatever. Who
Hmm.
was your favorite band? Something like that. And I said my favorite band was Boys to Men. And he looked at me like I was retarded. He's like, Boys to Men aren't a band, they're a group. They don't play music. And I'm like, I never identified a band or a group as being two separate entities. I
Right.
definitely didn't think about, well, if they play instruments, they're a band. No. To me, like I said, that was my only requirement. A band was simply two or more people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Spice Girls could have been up there among my favorite bands if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Do they play music? I don't think so.
No, I
But
mean that seems legit. I mean, like, yeah, because two is a duo, so yeah, more than two. Why not? Isn't Blink 182 a three-piece band?
I think they play music, and I know they got multiple people. I don't know if they have two people. Yeah, I think there's a drummer. So I think
Yeah,
got like
that's
the two main.
Travis Barker. Yeah, he's a drummer.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, Blink 182 would definitely be considered a band.
Yeah.
So I guess nowadays, if I were to break it down, I would say Bon Jovi is my favorite band, with Boys to Men being my favorite group. I think that would be like the easiest way to break it down.
Yeah, that's fair. For sure. Yeah, I used to sing for bands and stuff. I used to do vocals for like kind of like Red Hot Chili Peppers stuff like many moons ago, maybe like
Yeah,
20 years at this point. So I did that and I actually freestyle rap. So I do listen to some of that too, but it's all like 90s. I don't really like any of today's like rap or whatever. I just go all the way back to the 90s.
cool, bad at
Yeah.
man. My freaking cubby over there is looking weird.
Oh no.
Uh, I don't know, man. Like, I might have to end the live stream soon because I'm worried about her.
Oh
She's been
yeah,
like,
dude.
she's been
No.
hanging over in that corner for a while now,
Yeah, no, I get it, man. That's serious stuff.
and it's weird that like she's not even on the bed, but like having her sit on the floor over there just looks weird, man.
Hmm.
Like that's out of character.
Oh man. Yeah, dude. I mean, we can always just yeah, hit me up. We can do it another time if you want.
Yeah, so right now we're at an hour and 22 minutes. I'm probably gonna go at least to an hour and a half because I have OCD and I have to make the numbers even.
All right, man. Yeah, no, I get you.
But I also want to make sure I go through every comment just to make sure I didn't miss anybody.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I didn't watch Terrifier 3, but video sure art is a demon and him and the witch from Hallows Eve are gonna be revealed to be the same. Really? In part four. That is awesome. The Terrifier 3 with the Christmas, I haven't seen it yet. Like you would think Terrifier 3 or Halloween Ends, for example, or Scream 6 and 7. I don't think I've seen those movies yet. I think the last Scream I saw, no, I think I saw the first Jenna Ortega Scream. So what was that? Was that part 6 or was that part 5? I don't even remember. Like these movies are coming out so far apart that once the first trilogy ended, like you kind of gave up on Scream, on the Scream franchise. Then they want to come back all these years later with like a Scream 4, and I think that's where Nev Campbell's character, that's where Sydney's like cousin was trying to kill her or something. I'm like, I think I lost interest in Scream after that. Like I'm pretty sure watching it the first time go, I enjoyed it, but reflecting on that and then reflecting on the first few movies, I'm like, no, this is not for me. Plus, I think they killed off Dewey in like the fifth or sixth movie. I mean, that's a fan favorite. So, but there's so many like lovable horror franchises I haven't seen, and I'm like, why? What am I waiting on? I've talked about in the past. I just feel like I've lost my passion for movie and TV viewing. It used to be something I used to do daily, all day long. I would love watching the TV show, all day long if I could. I don't find that to be entertaining anymore. And if I'm watching a movie, like if my wife is sitting there watching a movie with me, that means more to me because it's something we can share together.
That's
Maybe
for sure.
talk about it or something.
Yeah,
But Terrifier 3, I mean, I definitely want to watch that, but I don't think I could get my wife to watch it because she doesn't like those type of movies. With the overly gory or excessive kill scenes in these movies. But I mean, I think it's pretty damn cool. You hear this little news report that doctors come out with, like, if your child can watch a horror movie and not react to it, he's a psychopath. I'm like, man, you're just talking about every freaking kid born in the 80s now
I know.
being
Yeah,
psychopath.
they know about Freddy Krueger and like Jason and all that. Like I think they should know.
I
Classic.
mean, there's a huge, huge difference between seeing something on TV, a movie show, which is fiction, and no one's actually being killed or not actually being harmed, compared to actually seeing that same event happen to you in real life.
Yeah.
So, if
Yep.
I was tied to a chair and some girl was being slit down the middle,
Yeah.
I'd probably be a little freaking suffer a little bit of PTSD or something,
Yeah.
saying something
Yeah.
like
Yeah. That
that.
would affect me. That would
But
affect
there's
me.
a huge difference between like
Yeah.
knowing that what they're cutting is probably like a rubber suit or something.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah. No, I get you, man. Yeah, I'd
so
probably. I won't lie. I'd probably pass out if that was happening next to me.
So I'm like, this doctor that came out with this, like everyone that watches this is a psycho. I'm like, you need to go back to med school, dude. You need to do some more research or something because that was just pathetic.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was a horrible assessment.
Yeah. Seriously, dude. I know. Because we'd all be psychopaths.
I don't know what death or union is, so I'm gonna say no, dude. Stop spending your money on movies, guy. I would just say download the Pirate Bay or type in Pirate Bay into Google, man, and download your movie from there. Because I mean, you might have to download one of those. What are they called? 'Cause you can't just click on the link and then have it upload. You have to have like the actual upload technology. Uh, I remember it used to have like uTorrent. That's what it's called. It used to be like a purple uTorrent, and then they changed the color to green. I don't know if that still exists, but like in 2012, when I discovered Pirate Bay when I was in Afghanistan, I could not buy movies anymore. Like I'd probably have a couple of thousand additional DVDs by now if I never stopped buying movies. But I stopped buying movies because I didn't have to. I could just download it for free. And I mean, yeah, there are plenty of DVDs, movies, TV shows that I bought over the years since then, but they're probably still in the cellophane. And I just bought them just to have it, just say, hey, it's part of the movie collection or part of the TV series. Like if I got if I got 7 seasons of The Shield, and maybe I was missing season 5, maybe I'd go buy it at this store because it was there and it was affordable. But like, you think I'm gonna go back and watch The Shield season 4 or any of The Shield on DVD? No. If I ever go back and watch The Shield, it's probably gonna be because it's like on Amazon Prime and I can
Sure.
watch it for free or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The DVD days, kind of. I was in it too, man. I had like all the up to I don't know what number of all the seasons of The Simpsons on DVD. And then it ends up like a few years later, it's like I don't need this because I can just go I can just go
Okay.
stream it. So it's like it's funny how that works.
You
But yeah,
know,
I used to collect them too. Yeah.
mm, just hearing you talk about The Simpsons, and I've mentioned The Simpsons a million times in this video, and it didn't occur to me. I finally remember what I was going to talk about when I was talking about my going to the PX in 2004.
Okay.
I don't remember what transpired to make me cross over, but I kind of know what I was going to say. So whenever we got off work, we were off obviously Saturdays in AIT, end of Saturdays after training, and then we were off most of Sundays, and then we came back right before dinner time, so we could go to the DFAC for dinner. But every weekend I'd go to the PX and I'd buy movies, TV shows, whatever. Um, Towards the end of my stay there, I bought like the first 6 seasons of The Simpsons on DVD. And season 6 was it? I could be remembering wrong, but the point is, season 6 of The Simpsons was not on a regular DVD set. It came in this like stupid.
Yeah,
I think it was like was it Marge or Maggie or
I
something?
had one that was a Homer head, but I don't know if they
Homer.
did all the different
Yeah,
characters.
I think you're right. I think it was
Yeah,
Homer's. It was like a little canister, tin can,
yeah, yeah. It didn't match up. Yeah, yeah. I
and
remember that.
I just thought this was so freaking stupid. And so I remember opening that canister, and inside there's like a little tag that says, "Oh my God, collectors are gonna freak out because this doesn't fit on their shelf perfectly." And I'm
Yeah,
reading this, I'm like, pretty much, yeah.
yeah,
In a nutshell, I
yeah,
like so I like dress things being dressed right, dress and being similar, right? So when I stack those on my shelf, I want them to line up evenly across the board. So
yeah.
getting that interesting, I was so ticked off.
Yeah, there was really no reason to do that except maybe to aggravate people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why they did that. Was there something you could mail away for a real case, or am I making that up?
I think that was possible because I remember getting the actual season 6, regular, squared one later on,
Yeah,
rectangle one later on.
yeah, with
But
the TV in the front and everything. Yeah,
and I don't think they even did that again at any point or any future releases.
yeah,
So I think they realized that they really effed up and
yeah,
really screwed the pooch. Probably
yeah.
wasted a lot of money on that, thinking that they were gonna have like this special edition release or something like
You're right.
people were gonna line up for it, and it was probably like one of the worst sales ever.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. They
again,
dropped
I
the
don't.
ball with that.
So yeah, talking about this story, I don't remember what the original story was, why I transitioned to that, but that's basically what I wanted to say. And look at that. It only took me about 3 hours to figure it out.
Yeah, it came around. It came
God
back.
dang.
Yeah, Simpsons, man.
Let's see. Death of a Unicorn. Like I said, I don't know what that is. I haven't. Oh, Death of a. Okay, got it. So he said Death of a Union, but he meant Death of a Unicorn. Is that the? I'm trying to think. Is that the one where they find a unicorn in like the woods or something? They run it over, and it comes back. You know, it wakes up after its injury and like starts killing people or something.
Hmm.
I think that's what the same movie is. I mean, I have interest. If that's the same one, I have interest in seeing it at some point in my life, but nothing I'm rushing to get right now. Yep, that was the same one, Cole. All right, man. I don't know about you, unless you got anything else you'd like to talk about. Um, this cat's making me nervous over here, the way she's kind of
Yeah,
passed out.
yeah,
So
no, definitely, man. No, just thank you for having me on, dude. And if you ever want to do it again, I'm sure we can message and figure something out. So
absolutely. I mean, if you want this to be a regular thing, let me know. Every Monday, I'll save a slot for you and send you the invite and everything.
yeah, man, I'll just say now that sounds good, dude.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Well,
man. No, yeah,
just
good talking with you, dude.
you too. Absolutely, bud. I just want to close the show. Well, thanking Wrestling with Bum Shadows to the channel and to all the viewers and commenters. Thank you all for tuning in. Um, leave a comment after the video if you like. We'll still be responding and talk to you guys later. Take care, everybody.
All right, good night.
Good night, bud.
Good night, dude.